Chapter 13:13. Everything in the world belongs to man, but man has nothing to heaven. There were a total of 19 words, and each word seemed to contain a vast and mysterious world. Especially the last 7 words, the murderous aura was monstrous, and the murderous aura seemed to have materialized, gushing out from the paper. One look at it and one would feel as if they were about to sink into the boundless hell. What a strong murderous aura! Ling Xiao was shocked. He could see that Elder Wuzong did not use any divine power or activate the laws of heaven and earth. He was just writing, but there was such a mysterious phenomenon. This is the power of the divine path? Killing to prove one's Tao? Ling Xiao's body trembled, and his eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. If he guessed correctly, this Elder Wuzong might have already touched the divine path, and it was the most powerful and pure killing to prove one's Tao. Ling Xiao almost thought that he was facing a saint of killing. Ling Xiao guarded his mind, then bowed to Elder Wuzong and said, "Disciple Long Outyin greets Elder. This time, I'm here to choose a martial art." Ling Xiao handed over the token that Tong Yuan had given him. Hee, Tong Yuan got in through the back door again, giving people martial arts at random? You're this year's new disciple? Your indestructible battle body has reached such a level. Your talent is not bad. Elder Wuzong raised his head and looked at Ling Xiao, but then a trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. He could tell at a glance that Ling Xiao's indestructible battle body had reached the divine blood jade bone perfection level and was about to break through to the 3rd level. I entered Aries College a month ago. My indestructible battle body was given to me by Elder Tai Tai, and I was lucky to have achieved it. Ling Xiao smiled slightly. That old thing from Tai Tai? That guy is like a rock in a latrine pit, smelly and hard. I heard that he favored that guy called Tian Gang, but I didn't expect him to like you. Not bad. You can go in. Elder Wuzong was slightly surprised, but in the end he accepted the token and nodded. The 9 ultimate techniques were all on the 3rd floor. Ling Xiao had to choose them and hand them over to Elder Wu Chang, who would then pass them down to Ling Xiao. Thus, Ling Xiao directly walked up to the 3rd floor and saw the 9 resplendent jade talismans floating in the center. Each of them was the size of a palm and exuded an incomparably profound martial art aura. Indestructible War Body, Great Wilderness Sword Tao, Transmutation Unity Law, Dark Een Finger, Radiant Seal, 7 Styles of Adjudication, 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit Technique, Burning Sky Halberd Art, 5 Divine Mountain Palms. The 9 ultimate skills all appeared in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao also knew that almost all the geniuses ranked at the top of the Hidden Dragon leaderboard had cultivated these 9 unique skills. Moreover, they had at least cultivated them to the mastery stage, and their combat strength was extremely terrifying. Just like the 9 great kings, although they were only at the perfect heavenly god realm, their battle prowess was probably not weaker than an ordinary god king realm expert. This was the foundation of Aries College, and Ling Xiao also knew that these 9 unique skills were the foundation of the War God Temple's 9 great heavenly arts. Just like how one could cultivate the indestructible war body to the extreme, one could cultivate the indestructible saint technique. Cultivating the Great Wilderness Sword Tao to the extreme was the Heavenly Temple's art of eternity. Which absolute art should I choose? Ling Xiao's gaze fell on the 9 resplendent jade talismans. Great Wilderness Sword Tao and 7 Styles of Adjudication? Ling Xiao looked at these 2 unique skills, and he couldn't make up his mind. The Great Wilderness Sword Tao was the Heavenly Temple's unique skill. In the War God Temple used to be the strongest, but now the Heavenly Temple was the strongest. The art of eternity contained the power of time, and Ling Xiao had already obtained the power of time. If he could cultivate the Great Wilderness Sword Tao, he would naturally be able to improve by leaps and bounds. As for the 7 Styles of Adjudication, it was the Wind Temple's unique skill. The Scarlet Dragon War God was incomparably proficient in the 7 Styles of Adjudication, as well as the advanced Great Adjudication Saint technique. This could be seen from the Scarlet Dragon War God's Divine Blade of Adjudication. Speaking of the Divine Blade of Adjudication, Ling Xiao couldn't help but be moved. The Scarlet Dragon War God's broken saber was still in his hands. Ling Xiao originally thought that the divine blade of adjudication was a divine weapon, but now it seemed that it was probably a powerful divine weapon. Although the divine blade of adjudication was only a broken saber, it contained the saber intent of the 7 styles of adjudication, and even the cultivation method of the Great Adjudication Saint technique. If Ling Xiao joined the War God Temple, it would be impossible for him to cultivate the Great Adjudication Saint technique, unless he could become the new War God of the War God Temple. However, if he used the divine blade of adjudication, he might be able to comprehend the true meaning of the Great Adjudication Saint technique. If that's the case, then let's cultivate the 7 styles of adjudication. Ling Xiao decided. The 7 styles of adjudication was a unique saber technique. Although he was proficient in the sword Dao, he also had deep attainments in the saber Dao. More importantly, the 7 styles of adjudication placed a heavy burden on the physical body, and when combined with the immortal war body, it could unleash double the combat strength. With Ling Xiao's current terrifying physical body, the 7 styles of adjudication would be able to kill anyone who stood in his way. There were still many disciples in the martial depository pavilion. Although some of them saw Ling Xiao going up to the 3rd floor, most of them didn't take him seriously. After all, how many contribution points could a new disciple have? The martial arts on the 3rd floor easily cost tens of thousands of contribution points. Ordinary disciples couldn't afford it. Ling Xiao didn't alarm the others. He took the inheritance crystal of the 7 styles of adjudication and came before Elder Wu Zong. I choose the 7 styles of adjudication. Ling Xiao looked at Elder Wu Zong and said calmly, Immortal war body combined with the 7 styles of adjudication? Your ambition isn't small. However, these 2 techniques are very difficult to cultivate, especially the 7 styles of adjudication. It requires constant life and death battles. Moreover, you have to wield the saber for 10 years. Do you really want to cultivate it? Elder Wu Zong saw that Ling Xiao had chosen the 7 styles of adjudication and seemed a little surprised. His eyes revealed a hint of complexity as he asked slowly, That's right, Elder, I've decided to cultivate the 7 styles of adjudication. Ling Xiao nodded and said, All right, since you've decided, I wish you good luck. Elder Wu Zong said slowly, Buzz. Under his guidance, the martial arts intent of the 7 styles of adjudication was imparted to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao finally felt the terror of the 7 styles of adjudication. The so-called 7 styles of adjudication represented the heavens to pass judgment. It was like the celestial emperor who controlled the heavens and the myriad of worlds. His mouth contained the heavenly laws to pass judgment on all living beings. The 7 styles of adjudication was the most powerful massacre saber technique. Every slash was fatal and contained the power of the law of annihilation and massacre. Since you've chosen the 7 styles of adjudication, I'll give this calligraphy to you. I hope you'll be able to successfully cultivate this martial art. Elder Wu Zong gave the calligraphy he had just written to Ling Xiao. You're giving it to me? Thank you, Elder. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. Then he straightened his expression and bowed deeply to Elder Wu Zong. Perhaps others couldn't see it, but Ling Xiao could. The 19 words in this calligraphy contained Elder Wu Zhang's complete massacre Dao. It was an extremely important reference for Ling Xiao to cultivate the 7 styles of adjudication. It could even increase Ling Xiao's cultivation speed. This was definitely an unimaginable gift. Chapter 13-14. The 7 Styles of Judgment was a pure killing martial art, and Elder Wu Zong had walked the path of killing, so his calligraphy was extremely important to Ling Xiao. It could greatly shorten the time he needed to practice the 7 Styles of Judgment. Ling Xiao returned to the Ling Xiao Pavilion and saw a lady in white standing in front of the waterfall. She was surrounded by mist and had an extraordinary aura. Xian Wang. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. He didn't expect Ji Feishuan to come out of seclusion so quickly. Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan had agreed to use pseudonyms in order to not expose their true identities. However, Ling Xiao realized that Ji Feishuan's cultivation was still at the perfected true God realm. She hadn't broken through to the heaven God realm. Senior Brother Long, I didn't expect your cultivation to improve in such a short time. You even defeated Chu Yunfei. The Xian King turned around, and a smile blossomed on her beautiful face as she sighed emotionally. She had known Ling Xiao since he was weak. Although she later found out that Ling Xiao had reincarnated, she still couldn't believe that he had improved to such a level in such a short time. No matter if it was his talent, wisdom, or means, she had never seen anyone like him before. She estimated that even if she used all her means, she would only have a 50% chance of winning against Ling Xiao. I was just lucky. Junior sister Xian Wang, why did you come out of seclusion so quickly? Why didn't you break through to the heaven god realm in one go? Ling Xiao asked curiously. It was probably easier for Ji Feishuan to break through to the heaven god realm. The divine spiritual qi in the abode is too weak. I plan to go to the God of War pagoda and use the pressure there to break through. Xian Wang said with a smile. Great. I also want to go to the God of War pagoda. If junior sister Xian Wang isn't in a hurry, why don't you wait for a few days? After Yi Liangchen, Feng Ya, and Yin Tianzong come out of seclusion, we can go together. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Sure. Xian Wang was a little embarrassed. She actually wanted to come to the Ling Xiao pavilion for a few days. However, the conditions in the abode were too bad. There were many things that she couldn't do freely. Xian Wang and Ling Xiao entered the Ling Xiao pavilion together and chose a room to stay in. Ling Xiao did not go into seclusion. Instead, he was trying to figure out the true meaning of the 7 styles of judgment while waiting for Yap Liangchen and the rest to come out of seclusion. The 7 styles of adjudication was not something that could be mastered by simply cultivating in seclusion. It needed to be comprehended in the midst of slaughter. At the same time, Ling Xiao began to multitask and cultivate the Great Void Charm scripture. If he wanted to fully inherit the Great Void Emperor's legacy, he would have to cultivate the Great Void Charm mantra to the 6th level before he could become the master of the Great Void Temple. In the divine world, the physical body, divine power, and primordial spirit corresponded to the human body's essence, energy, and spirit. They were the 3 most common paths for experts in the divine world. If one's essence, energy, and spirit were to become a saint, they would be a body saint, a warlock saint, and a soul saint. Body saints had unparalleled physical bodies. When they cultivated to the extreme, they could even prove their Tao through strength. They could shatter the void and tear apart the universe with their physical bodies. However, it was extremely difficult to achieve the sage realm with one's physical body. Apart from some extremely talented races or those who had obtained heaven-defying opportunities, it was practically impossible to achieve the sage realm with one's physical body. On the other hand, warlock saints were very common. It could be said that 99% of them were warlock saints. Soul sages were also very rare. However, it was much easier than achieving the sage realm with one's physical body. Soul sages believed that the soul was the foundation and the physical body was just a shell that restricted the soul. After becoming a soul sage, as long as a thought existed, they would be immortal. Soul sages could use their soul to communicate with the power of heaven and earth. They were almost in harmony with heaven and earth. They could unleash extremely powerful combat power and were very difficult to kill. However, other than body saints, warlock saints, and soul saints, there was an extremely special holy path. That was the heart saint. The Buddhist disciples in the divine world walked the path of the heart saint. They used the heart of heaven to illuminate their heart. If their heart was not destroyed, heaven and earth would not be destroyed. If their heart was destroyed, all things would cease to exist. The heart saint gave people the feeling that they were extremely mysterious and powerful. It was said that a powerful heart saint even had the power to create things out of thin air and create worlds. As long as their thoughts were focused, everything could be achieved. The Great Void Charm scripture was the heart saint's path. With the heart realm as the foundation, one could continuously strengthen the power of one's mind. In the end, one would be able to interfere with reality with one's mind and create things out of thin air. The cultivation of the Great Void Charm scripture is obviously in conflict with my current path. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The Great Void Charm scripture used the heart realm as the foundation and continuously devoured all things in the world to strengthen the heart realm. This would allow the illusory heart realm to become a physical entity. With the heart realm as the foundation, it meant that Ling Xiao had to give up the foundation of his physical body and provide all the energy in his body to the heart realm to grow. However, Ling Xiao had a kind of ambition. He did not want to stick to a fixed path. He wanted to walk an unprecedented path. Therefore, when Ling Xiao became a god, he would achieve the three gods realm. In the future, Ling Xiao wanted to achieve the unprecedented three saints realm on the holy path. Now, he had the heart saint. It could be said that if Ling Xiao continued to walk down this path, the difficulty of becoming a saint would be 100 times or even 1,000 times more difficult than others. This is the path that I have chosen. If I continue to walk down this path, let's see what realm I can reach in the end. A sharp glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he thought to himself. The cultivation of the great void charm scripture required one to devour the thoughts of all living beings and experience the boundless mortal world to sharpen the indestructible heart. Only then could one's heart power become stronger. Before becoming a saint, the strength of a heart saint would not be strong. Just like the disciples of Buddhism, before becoming a heart saint, they would also need to cultivate a strong physical body, rules of order or superpower. Only with the ability to subdue demons could they go far on this path. Otherwise, if they were killed before becoming a heart saint, the Buddhism would have been destroyed long ago. The cultivation of the great void charm scripture cannot be rushed. I can only slowly sharpen my thoughts. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He had not found a faster way to cultivate the great void charm scripture. Therefore, he could only cultivate it step by step. That was to imprint everything he saw and thought in the heart realm and continuously sharpen his thoughts. Gradually, his heart realm would become stronger. One could imagine how long it would take to cultivate to the 6th level of the Great Void Charm Scripture at this speed. Could it be that the Great Void Emperor has something to do with Buddhism? Ling Xiao thought to himself. After all, the Heart Saint technique was a secret technique of Buddhism. Other than a group of extremely fanatical old monks who abstained from meat and chanted sutras every day, who could obtain the Heart Saint technique. However, Ling Xiao did not know these. He put away the distracting thoughts in his mind and continued to comprehend the 7 strokes of judgment. Chapter 13:15. They hadn't broken through yet. After all, they hadn't accumulated enough. Moreover, the cultivation of the immortal state was a painstaking process. It wasn't that easy to break through. However, Ling Xiao could see that Yi Liangchen, Feng Ye, and Yin Tiansong had all reached a critical point. They would be able to break through soon. You didn't consume the holy liquid? Ling Xiao asked them. He didn't sense the holy liquid's aura from them. We decided to consume the holy liquid in the God of War Pagoda. With the pressure of the God of War Pagoda, we can break through and stabilize our cultivation. Yi Liangchen chuckled. All right then. In that case, let's go to the God of War Pagoda together. Ling Xiao said with a smile. The God of War Pagoda was an extremely ancient stone pagoda. It didn't look eye-catching. It was only a few hundred feet tall and had a total of 9 levels. Its exterior was gray and blurry, but this was one of the sacred grounds of Ares College. Not only was the God of War Pagoda rich in God's spiritual energy, but it also had a strong gravity. Just the first level had 10 times the gravity. In the God of War Pagoda, the God's spiritual energy was compressed to an extremely pure state by gravity. It could be formed into a gas, a liquid, or even a solid state. Cultivating here could increase one's cultivation speed and had all sorts of unimaginable benefits. For example, under the gravity of the God of War Pagoda, one's physical body could become even stronger. The gravity on each level of the 9-level God of War Pagoda was multiplied. Legend had it that the 9th level of the God of War Pagoda had 3,000 times the gravity. Even a God King wouldn't dare to step on it. They would probably be crushed into a pulp instantly. Divine Spirit Realm cultivators were mostly on the 1st and 2nd levels. True gods were on the 3rd and 4th levels. Heaven gods were on the 5th and 6th levels. God Kings were on the 7th and 8th levels. Legend had it that the 9th level was the domain of the Holy Path. Only those who had touched the Holy Path could step on it. Without a doubt, the God of War Pagoda was a powerful holy treasure. It was also the treasure that stabilized Ares College's fortune. When Ling Zhao's group of 5 arrived, they saw many disciples lining up to enter the God of War pagoda. All of them looked excited. Most of them were new disciples. After all, they all had 2 hours and wanted to experience the benefits of cultivating in the God of War pagoda. When Ling Zhao's group of 5 arrived, they instantly attracted everyone's attention. To be precise, it was Xian Wang and Feng Ye who attracted everyone's attention. King Xian was a peerless beauty. Her temperament was transcendent, and her appearance was otherworldly. She was like a snow lotus that was untainted by the mortal world. On the other hand, Feng Ye was gentle and elegant, as pure as water. Although she did not wear any makeup, she had an ethereal and pure aura, like a peony. The two of them had just entered Ares College, but they were already recognized as the goddesses of Ares College. Together with the female T-Rex on the hidden dragon list, they were known as the 3 goddesses. However, although that she T-Rex was beautiful and had an extraordinary temperament, her personality was extremely fiery. Many disciples had suffered losses because of her. She was simply a battle maniac. Many disciples stayed away from her. Seeing that Ling Zhao was actually standing together with Xian Wang and Feng Ye, many disciples revealed looks of envy and even jealousy. If it was in the past, perhaps some senior disciples would have come out to provoke and teach this junior brother who did not know the rules a lesson. However, a month ago, Ling Zhao defeated Chu Yunfei and showed his strength. Even if those people were unhappy, they didn't dare to make a move. What's there to be arrogant about? Long Outyen snatched the Spirit King Pavilion. When Chu Yunfan comes out, he will definitely teach him a lesson. Some disciples thought maliciously. Long Outyen, that brat, has finally appeared. Brother Lu, this brat is too strange. If he continues to grow like this, I'm afraid it won't be a good thing. Lu Wenqing and Lu Yen were also in the queue, preparing to enter the God of War pagoda. Naturally, they noticed Ling Zhao and the others. When Lu Wenqing thought of the Black Tortoise Sage's inheritance being snatched by Ling Zhao, his heart burned with anger. He couldn't wait to kill Ling Zhao and snatch the inheritance back. It could be said that he hated Ling Zhao the most. Lu Yen also sneered and sent a voice transmission to Lu Wenqing. Then what do you want? Even if we find someone to challenge him now, I'm afraid he won't accept. There are too many restrictions in Ares College. Lu Yen also felt helpless. Ling Zhao's cultivation was too low. Even if he wanted to find someone on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard to teach Ling Zhao a lesson, Ling Zhao would probably reject him. Brother Lu, I have an idea to teach this bastard a lesson and vent our anger. Lu Wenqing's eyes flashed as he sneered. Oh, what idea? Lu Wenqing laughed sinisterly. Do you remember that hothead Li Hu? He seems to have entered the God of War pagoda today. Why don't we find Li Hu to beat up Long Outyen and vent our anger? Hothead Qing Li Hu? That big guy? That's a good idea. That guy even dared to talk back to the dean. He was famous for being hothead in the college and was a frequent visitor of the discipline hall. The key was that this guy was extremely strong. Although he was only at the early stage of the heavenly god realm, he had terrifying divine power. Even a mid-stage heavenly god was no match for him. He was ranked 532 on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard. The gravity in the God of War pagoda was extremely strong. Long Outyen would definitely not be used to it since it was his first time in there. It was not a bad idea to let Li Hu teach him a lesson. However, I'm afraid we will have to pay a price. That guy is someone who won't act until he sees an incentive. Lu Yen said with a pained expression. Give him a drop of holy liquid and let him teach Long Outyen a lesson. He will definitely be willing. Brother Lu, don't worry. I will pay for this drop of holy liquid. Lu Wenqing said generously. With his status, it was very easy for him to get some holy liquid. A drop of holy liquid was nothing. All right, it's settled then. We will go find Li Hu later. Lu Yen laughed sinisterly. Ling Zhao didn't know that Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing were scheming against him. However, even if he knew, he wouldn't care. Soon, they verified the God of War token and entered the God of War pagoda. A white light flashed, and they entered a white space. There was a faint divine spiritual aura around them. It was very pure. The purity of the divine spiritual aura on the first level of the God of War pagoda was actually comparable to the divine spiritual aura gathered by the spirit gathering array in the pavilion. Yi Liangchen, Feng Ye, and Yin Tiansong all felt their bodies sink. Although the tenfold combat strength here didn't affect them much, they could all feel the powerful gravity. Chapter 13:16. 10 times the combat power is useless to us. Let's go to the second level. Ling Xiao said. No one had any objections. They directly walked up the stone steps to the second level and arrived at the space of the second level. There was no one on the first level of the God of War pagoda, but there were more than 10 people on the second level. They were all new disciples who had just joined Ares College. The second level had 20 times the pressure. Ling Xiao could see that the God's spiritual qi was extremely dense. It was even denser than the Ling Xiao pavilion. Ling Xiao, Xin Nu, and Yin Tiansong didn't feel much, but Yap Liangchen and Feng Ye felt that their footsteps were heavy. The 20 times gravity had already affected their speed. The pressure on the second level isn't enough. We only have 2 hours. We can't waste it. Let's continue going up. Yap Liangchen's eyes flashed as he said slowly, I can take it too. Let's go to the third level. Feng Ye also nodded. Ling Xiao naturally didn't have any objections and led them to the third level. Boom! 40 times the terrifying gravity descended. Yap Liangchen and Feng Ye trembled. They felt that the blood in their body was flowing at an extremely slow speed. They couldn't even stand properly and sat down. This God of War pagoda is indeed amazing. Using gravity to compress the God's spiritual qi, I will definitely be able to break through here. Yap Liangchen's eyes lit up as he exclaimed. Feng Ye's entire body was filled with a green divine power. While resisting the terrifying gravity, she began to absorb the boundless divine spirit aura around her. Let's continue going up. Ling Xiao saw that Yap Liangchen and Feng Ye could take it and continued going up. The fourth level had 80 times the gravity. Other than a few new disciples, most of the people here were old disciples. Furthermore, they were old disciples who had reached the great circle of the true God realm. Yin Tiansong also chose to cultivate here. Ling Xiao and Xian Wang looked at each other and headed to the fifth level together. Ling Zhao's physical body was extremely strong. The 80 times combat power only made him feel a little heavier, but it wasn't much of a pressure. Ji Feishuan's cultivation level was very high, so she could adapt quickly. However, when they saw Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan heading towards the fifth level, some of the older disciples were shocked. That's Long Outyan and Xian Wang? They were just true God realm cultivation and actually dared to go up to the fifth level? The ignorant are truly fearless. Someone sneered. Long Outyan defeated Chu Yunfei. He is very strong. Maybe he can withstand the pressure of the fifth floor. Hee. Battle prowess and cultivation are two completely different things. The fifth level's gravity is something that even early-stage celestial deity realm powerhouses find hard to endure. You guys just watch. Very soon, he'll roll down with his tail between his legs. Many senior disciples mocked and ridiculed him, as if they were watching a joke. If Ling Xiao defeated Chu Yunfei, they might be able to laugh at him, but if Ling Xiao showed more potential than them, they would naturally be extremely unhappy. This was envy or jealousy. Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan, on the other hand, went straight to the fifth level, where the gravity was 160 times. Boom! Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan couldn't help but tremble when the terrifying gravitational force hit them. It was as if a gigantic immemorial divine mountain was pressing down on them from all directions, making it hard for them to breathe. The pressure on this level is indeed very strong. However, it's suitable for me to break through here. Ji Feishuan's eyes lit up as she smiled at Ling Xiao. She immediately sat down with her legs crossed and began to circulate the divine energy in her body, preparing to break through the bottleneck and break through to the heavenly God realm in one go. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He took a deep breath and felt the majestic qi of the gods surging towards his limbs and bones. It was as heavy as mercury, but it contained an incomparably pure energy. It directly exploded in Ling Zhao's meridians. Under the 160 times gravity, the divine spiritual energy had already started to liquefy, turning into divine liquid. Cultivating here was simply advancing at a tremendous pace. Even Ling Xiao's indestructible war body showed signs of breaking through. However, Ling Xiao could feel that the 160 times gravity had not reached the limit of his physical body's endurance. He could still endure stronger gravity. They're merely at the true God realm, but they can actually endure the 5th level's gravity. These two are not simple. Some of the disciples who were cultivating on the 5th level noticed Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan, and their eyes were filled with astonishment. It was almost impossible for a true God realm expert to cultivate on the 5th level. Those who were able to do so were those who were extremely talented, or even those whose physical body had reached the true God realm. Therefore, everyone was naturally curious about Ling Xiao and Ji Feishuan's identities. Although Ling Xiao had defeated Chu Yunfei, he had not shown his face in the academy much. Ji Feishuan had also been cultivating in seclusion, so some of the senior disciples had not seen them before. Bang, bang, bang. Ling Xiao walked on the 5th floor, creating earth-shaking noises. Every step he took would cause the ground to tremble. It was as if he was carrying a divine mountain as he walked. Ling Xiao's body emitted a dazzling divine light that was crystal clear, as flawless as glass. Under the 160 times gravity, Ling Xiao could feel the blood in his body beginning to boil. I should be able to endure the 6th level's gravity. However, I should first get used to the 5th level's gravity and see how fast I can cultivate here. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Although the 5th level had not reached his limit, he could still feel the immense pressure. He could no longer fly on the 5th level and could only walk normally. If he reached the 6th level, it would be difficult for him to even walk normally. After all, Ling Xiao was here to cultivate in the God of War pagoda, not to show off or be tortured. It was best for him to cultivate here. However, with his cultivation at the middle stage of the true God realm, many disciples were shocked that he had stepped onto the 5th level. This gigolo's physical body cultivation is not bad. He actually managed to cultivate the undying war body to the 2nd level. I have never seen this guy before. I really want to beat him up, but unfortunately, I don't have the chance. A burly man who was more than 10 feet tall with bulging muscles, wearing a black beast skin, exuded a bloody aura, and exuded a dark golden light. He was extremely terrifying. He also noticed Ling Xiao. Opening his beast-like eyes, he glanced at Ling Xiao and said with some surprise and regret, "Brother Ling Xiao, I'm afraid you won't be able to escape." However, he only muttered a few words before closing his eyes and continuing to cultivate. Ling Xiao did not care about the gazes of others. He also found a secluded corner and sat down. Chapter 13:17. Boom. As Ling Xiao circulated the Aries art, he even secretly activated a trace of the heaven-devouring mystic technique. Instantly, the surrounding divine spiritual qi surged toward him. However, it was no longer divine spiritual qi. Rather, it was divine liquid. Ling Xiao's entire body emitted a dazzling light as if he had turned into a small sun. He began to devour the divine liquid around him. Drops of divine liquid contained the most powerful energy. They exploded in Ling Xiao's body, causing his meridians to tremble and emit thunderous sounds. Under such terrifying pressure, the energy contained in the divine liquid was extremely terrifying. Even heavenly god experts wouldn't dare to let go of their cultivation base and devour it as wantonly as Ling Xiao did. They had to refine it carefully or their foundation would be damaged. However, Ling Xiao did not have such concerns. He was like a bottomless pit. Divine spiritual qi surged around him, pushing his cultivation level up continuously. Ling Xiao estimated that if he could cultivate in the God of War pagoda for a few days at this speed, he would be able to break through to the late-stage true immortal realm. The cultivation speed here was more than 100 times faster than the outside world. However, Ling Xiao was only thinking about it. After all, he did not have that many contribution points. Furthermore, he did not dare to use the heaven-devouring mystic technique to devour the divine spiritual qi. He was like a mouse stealing rice. He could only secretly use a trace of the heaven-devouring mystic technique's power to steal the divine spiritual qi. 4th level of the God of War pagoda. What? Long Outyen, that bastard, actually went to the 5th level? Lu Wenqing and Lu Yen looked at each other and saw the ugly expression on each other's faces. Both of them were at the great circle of the true immortal realm, but after reaching the 4th level, they felt that every step was extremely difficult. They were panting heavily. They did not even have the strength to reach the 5th level. However, they heard that Long Outyen had entered the 5th level effortlessly. Damn it! Is the strength of a true immortal realm cultivator so strong? Lu Wenqing's eyes revealed a trace of indignation. He was 2 stages higher than Ling Xiao, but Ling Xiao had entered the 5th level while he was barely able to reach the 4th level. Brother Lu, even if that guy can enter the 5th level, I'm afraid he won't be able to move an inch. He's asking for it. I'll contact Li Hu now and ask him to teach Long Outyen a lesson. Lu Yen said with a sneer. Lu Wenqing's eyes lit up as he nodded and said, "That's right. I'm afraid that kid won't even have the strength to resist. Let's do it this way. Let Li Hu break Long Outyen's legs and record it with an image recording stone. I want him to be unable to raise his head in the academy." No problem, Pa. Lu Yen was also very happy. He immediately took out the War God token to contact Li Hu. After a while, Lu Yen looked at Lu Wenqing with an ugly expression and said, "That bastard Li Hu wants 2 drops of holy liquid, and we have to give it to him first before he will make a move. However, he did say that he would beat Long Outyen into a pig's head. I guarantee that you will be satisfied." 2 drops of holy liquid? Lu Wenqing's heart also felt extremely pained. One had to know that when he entered Ares College, the dazzling Gold City Lord, Lu Yangfeng, had paid a huge price to gather 20 drops of holy liquid. 15 of them were for his elder brother, Lu Wu, to help Lu Wu break through to the Divine King realm. He only had 5 drops. Previously, he had refined 2 drops and advanced to the complete True God realm. Now, he only had 3 drops left. This hothead Li Hu wanted 2 drops in one go. Naturally, he felt incomparably pained. Alright, 2 drops it is. Brother Lu, will each give 1 drop. However, you have to tell Li Hu that if he can't beat Long Outyen, he has to return the 2 drops of holy liquid. Lu Wenqing finally gritted his teeth and agreed. Lu Yen and Li Hu communicated for a while. Finally, both sides agreed on the terms. Then, Lu Yen found a senior to send the 2 drops of holy liquid to Li Hu on the 5th level. I hope that bastard Li Hu won't disappoint us. Lu Wenqing laughed bitterly. He suddenly regretted it. He didn't know why, but he had a bad feeling in his heart. Could it be that Li Hu couldn't beat Long Outyen? Definitely not. It was said that Li Hu could move freely on the 5th level. His indestructible battle body had already reached the 3rd level. Defeating Long Outyen should be a piece of cake. Lu Wenqing suppressed his chaotic thoughts and waited for the battle report on the 5th level. 5th level of the God of War pagoda. Ling Xiao was still cultivating as if there was no one else around. He kept devouring the energy of the holy liquid around him. It was as if a bright fog had formed around him, enveloping his entire body. Long Outyen, the champion of the Great Void Trial. He defeated Chu Yunfei and is at the 2nd level of the True God realm. Looks like it's that brat. The beast-skinned man, who was about 10 feet tall, looked at the jade bottle in his hand with satisfaction. Then, his eyes fell on Ling Xiao, full of evil intentions. Hee, it just so happens that I've been itching for a fight recently. Looks like I'll be able to earn 2 drops of holy liquid for free. This is a good deal. Brat, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for offending others. Don't blame me. The burly man was Li Hu. He was ranked 532 on the Hidden Dragon ranking. His indestructible battle body had reached the 3rd level of perfection. Coupled with his innate strength, he was like a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus. When he fought, he was not afraid of death, just like a mad dog. Therefore, he was given the nickname Hothead. This guy was extremely difficult to deal with. Many Heavenly God realm experts, and even senior brothers who were ranked higher than him on the Hidden Dragon ranking, were not willing to meet him face to face, let alone fight. Therefore, this guy liked to beat up a few senior brothers, and then get caught by the elders of the Discipline Hall to teach him a lesson. Li Hu rolled his eyes and laughed evilly. Then he stood up and walked towards Ling Xiao. He was more than 3 meters tall, and his dark golden body exuded a majestic blood qi. It was like he was made of metal, full of explosive power. When the senior disciples saw Li Hu, their faces twitched, and they hurriedly moved aside. What a joke! This hothead was someone who was not afraid of anything. Even if he met the dean, he would dare to fight. They did not want to be entangled with him. Who knew that Li Hu would directly sit beside Ling Xiao, and then slap Ling Xiao on the shoulder. He smiled, revealing a mouthful of white teeth. Junior brother, you've taken away senior brother's holy liquid. What do you think we should do about this? Li Hu said with a smile. Ling Xiao was not in a deep state of cultivation, so when Li Hu came over, he already felt it. He slowly opened his eyes, and 2 rays of golden light flashed. Chapter 13:18. Oh, senior brother, are you here to pick a fight? Ling Xiao asked calmly. He could feel that Li Hu's divine power was unparalleled. He had cultivated the indestructible war body and had reached the 3rd level. He was probably not much weaker than him. Although Li Hu's cultivation was only at the early heavenly god realm, he was much stronger than Chu Yunfei. Li Hu was amused when he saw Ling Xiao's reaction. He did not expect that there would be a junior brother who was not afraid of him. Had Long Outyin never heard of his name, or was he playing dumb? Ha, that's right. I'm here to pick a fight. Junior brother, you stole my divine liquid. You have to compensate me, right? Otherwise, I'm going to flip out. Li Hu chuckled. What compensation do you want? Ling Xiao asked calmly. He knew that Li Hu was probably instigated by others to find trouble with him. Otherwise, Li Hu would not target him since he had no enmity with him. I'm very magnanimous. I'll give you 2 choices. First, you can compensate me with 10 drops of divine liquid and I won't pursue the matter. Second, you can fight with me. If you win, I'll let you go. Li Hu said with a smile. Senior brother, what's your name? I'm wondering if it was Chu Yunfei who asked you to pick a fight with me or Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing who asked you to pick a fight with me. Ling Xiao asked curiously. Senior brother, my name is Li Hu. As for who came to pick a fight with you, it's obviously Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing. They gave me 2 drops of divine liquid and asked me to beat you up. I'm a very honest person. Since I've taken their things, I can only beat you up. However, junior brother, if you give me 10 drops of divine liquid, I'll let you go. Li Hu smiled and said. He looked very simple and honest. He directly sold out Lu Wenqing and Lu Yen. Ling Xiao nodded and said, Lu Wenqing and Lu Yen asked you to come? Thank you for telling me, senior brother. Unfortunately, I don't have 10 drops of divine liquid. Then be obedient and let me beat you up. Don't worry, I will only break your arms and legs, and then record it with a shadow recording stone. Senior apprentice brother moves very quickly, just bear with it and it will be over. Li Hu's face was full of eagerness. Unfortunately, I don't want to be beaten. How about this? Senior brother, if you give me 10 drops of holy liquid, I won't break your limbs. Ling Xiao said calmly. He felt that this Li Hu was an interesting person. Although he came to find trouble with him, his eyes were full of fighting spirit. He was very battle-hungry, like a martial arts fanatic. He looked rough, but there was actually finesse in his roughness. Looks like junior brother is very confident in your own strength? I like confident people. If junior brother didn't resist, I would have looked down on you. Since you dare to fight with me, then come on. If you can make Master Hu happy, then it's not impossible for Master Hu to forgive you. Li Hu's eyes lit up and a strong fighting spirit appeared on his face. The aura around him surged. Rumble. Blood qi rose around Li Hu, and his body was crackling. He exuded an extremely powerful aura, like an Archean ferocious beast that had awakened. In an instant, Ling Xiao was locked in by Li Hu. In that case, senior apprentice brother, please enlighten me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. His indestructible combat body had been cultivated to the complete divine blood jade bone, and he had also obtained the 7 styles of judgment. Li Hu in front of him also cultivated the indestructible combat body. Ling Xiao wanted to try the power of these two unique skills. This guy came at the right time, and he was a good opponent. Very good. Li Hu's eyes were full of eagerness, and his aura became extremely dangerous. He threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Li Hu's arm was surrounded by a mysterious luster, and there was an immortal fluctuation. It was like a heavenly pillar with unparalleled divine power. The third level of the indestructible combat body, the four heavenly paths? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The four heavenly paths was to refine the limbs of the human body. The arms had the power to split open the sky, and the legs had extreme speed. One strike was earth-shattering. Ling Xiao saw the luster on Li Hu's arm and immediately knew that he had been immersed in this realm for a long time, and his entire body had extremely terrifying power. Ling Xiao also threw a punch. Bang! A muffled sound came from the void. Li Hu's body trembled slightly, and he took a few steps back. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, was sent flying dozens of feet by his punch. You're only at the complete divine blood jade bone realm, but you have such a powerful physical body? Not bad, not bad. Again. Li Hu was slightly surprised, but the fighting spirit in his eyes grew stronger. When he was at the second level of the indestructible combat body, he did not have such a terrifying physical body like Ling Xiao, which made him very curious. The four heavenly paths is indeed worthy of its reputation. Good, again. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as well. He laughed heartily and threw out another punch. He did not use the power of the ancestral dragon's secret skill. At this moment, he only used his physical body after the complete divine blood jade bone realm. Although he was still a little weaker than Li Hu, he was not far behind. Most importantly, Ling Xiao found that the battle with Li Hu had made his physical body tremble, and there was a faint trend of him breaking through to the third level. Moreover, in such a battle, Ling Xiao's speed of devouring the divine liquid had greatly increased. Rumble! Ling Xiao and Li Hu both released the power of their physical bodies and began to fight fiercely on the fifth level. Every time their physical bodies collided, it was like two mountains colliding, and there was an earth-shattering rumble. Heaven and earth shook, and blood qi filled the air. Ling Xiao and Li Hu were like spiritual apes climbing, and also like eagles soaring into the sky. Every collision was extremely fierce, and the speed was getting faster and faster. Ling Xiao deliberately only released the power of the divine blood jade bone. His whole body was boiling with blood qi, and his jade bone was crystal clear, exuding a glass-like luster. Every time he and Li Hu collided, he would be sent flying. There seemed to be some kind of ferocious beast's bloodline power in Li Hu's body. At this moment, it was completely unleashed, and the aura was extremely terrifying. The battle between the two of them also alarmed the other disciples on the fifth level. That guy is the hothead Li Hu? Why is he fighting with someone? Who is that young man in white? Someone exclaimed in surprise. I heard that the young man in white is a new disciple who just entered the academy, Long Outyin. He's the champion of this year's Great Void Trial. I heard that a month ago he defeated Chu Yunfei. Long Outyin? I've heard of him too, but how did he offend the hothead Li Hu? I'm afraid he's going to suffer this time. Isn't that so? Many senior brothers are unwilling to fight with Li Hu. He's like a mad dog, but his physical body is invincible. I'm afraid only senior brother Tiangang can suppress him. That Long Outyin is still too inexperienced. Did you notice? That Long Outyin has also cultivated the indestructible combat body, and he has cultivated it to the complete realm of the second level? Junior brother Long is indeed talented, but it's a pity that he's no match for Li Hu. Chapter 13-19. Many of the disciples awoke from their cultivation. Seeing the battle between Ling Xiao and Li Hu, their eyes were filled with curiosity as they began to discuss spiritedly. However, most of them hid far away, afraid of being affected by the battle between the two. They continued to cultivate while watching the battle. After all, every minute and second in the God of War pagoda was very precious. They were all contribution points that couldn't be wasted. Bang! Ling Xiao was sent flying by Li Hu's punch. However, His entire body seemed to sway in the wind as he turned around at an unbelievable angle and punched Li Hu's chest. Ha! Awesome! Junior brother Long, you have to hold on for a while longer. Li Hu laughed heartily. He felt the blood in his body boiling. The battle with this junior brother Long had finally let him experience the feeling of punching flesh. In the entire God of War temple, almost no one dared to fight him with pure physical strength. Those with lower cultivation couldn't defeat him, and those with higher cultivation would never fight him with their physical strength. They all used powerful martial arts to suppress him. Therefore, Li Hu was usually very depressed. Today, he met Ling Xiao and could finally have a good time. Boom! Li Hu's entire body was filled with a murderous aura. His fist seemed to be covered with a layer of black divine light as he punched Ling Xiao like a black divine tiger pouncing on him. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he also punched out. There was a muffled sound as he was forced back by Li Hu. The unparalleled divine power in Li Hu's punch also began to flow into Ling Xiao's body as if it was going to shatter him into pieces. Ling Xiao's body trembled slightly before he turned into a stream of light and shot into the sky. A huge footprint covered the sky as it pressed down on Li Hu. Bang! Li Hu didn't hesitate to punch out and collided with Ling Xiao's footprint. Then his fist turned into a claw and suddenly grabbed at Ling Xiao's ankle, wanting to pull Ling Xiao down. Ling Xiao slashed down with his palm. It was like a golden saber river that contained vast and mighty divine power. It slashed down on Li Hu's arm. Clang! The sound of metal clashing could be heard as sparks flew. There wasn't even a white mark on Li Hu's arm. It was as if it was made of metal, indestructible. However, Ling Xiao's palm blade was not simple. It contained layers upon layers of hidden energy, causing Li Hu's arm to feel slightly numb. Ling Xiao took the opportunity to leap up and at the same time, pointed a finger at Li Hu's forehead. This finger contained a sharpness that could pierce through everything. It was like an invisible sword chi. A strong wind blew, scraping against one's skin until it hurt. Without even thinking, Li Hu threw a punch. The black fist print had the sound of a tiger's roar, which seemed to be able to confuse people's minds. It sent Ling Xiao flying. Bang! Li Hu stomped his foot, and his entire person was like a black divine tiger, suddenly soaring into the sky. At the same time, an incomparably violent tiger roar burst out from his mouth, like the explosion of a yuan qi bomb, and a strange fluctuation shook Ling Xiao's entire person into powder. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, hugged the void with his arms, and his clothes fluttered in the wind. The strange sound waves were all attracted to him, and he swallowed them all in one gulp. The blood all over Ling Xiao's body was boiling. His body was dazzling, and his limbs began to become scorching hot. It was as if some kind of power was going to completely penetrate them. This battle between Ling Xiao and Li Hu had indeed made him feel extremely pressured. However, he wanted to use this pressure to transform his body and break through in the battle. If it were anyone else, they would have long been severely injured by Li Hu's terrifying brute force. However, Ling Xiao had the heaven-devouring secret technique. Although it could not be revealed, he could secretly devour the power that Li Hu had erupted with. Li Hu was like a sledgehammer, and Ling Xiao was like a divine iron that had been tempered 100 times. Every collision would make his body stronger and stronger. Under such a state, every particle around Ling Xiao began to tremble, as if they had awakened. They erupted with an incomparably resplendent light and began to madly devour the surrounding divine qi. Senior brother Li Hu, your strength is still not enough. Again. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. He grinned at Li Hu and threw another punch at Li Hu. It was as if a dragon's roar shook the surroundings. The blood around Ling Xiao's body was like a dragon, and all the power of his bloodline was mobilized by him. He threw a punch, and the extreme power of his body was compressed, as if forming a chaotic fist mark. It was terrifying to the extreme. Ling Xiao felt that he had reached a critical point. If this continued, he was afraid that he would break through very soon. Very good. Master who will fulfill your wish. Li Hu's eyes flashed, and a trace of blazing light appeared in his eyes. A sound like muffled thunder erupted around him, and the blood in his body began to boil. His entire body seemed to have transformed. His aura skyrocketed, and his skin became incomparably red. The veins in his body were like dragons, condensing into a peerless fist and blasting toward Ling Xiao. Gotcha! The two fists collided, and the void trembled violently. It was as if a small sun had exploded. Blood rose, and a vast divine light appeared. Ling Xiao was directly sent flying a few hundred feet by Li Hu's punch. Rumble. However, an unparalleled divine power erupted from Ling Xiao's body in an instant. The vast blood energy emitted a glass-like luster, and it instantly burst out from his body and then penetrated his four limbs. As if it was splitting the sky and the earth, Ling Xiao felt that his four limbs suddenly had an incomparably terrifying power, and they became heavy. With a punch, it was as if he could directly shatter heaven and earth. As for the indestructible war body, he had finally broken through to the third level, the Four Extremities realm. Junior Brother Long, you dare to borrow Master Hu's power to break through? You really have guts. Aren't you afraid that Master Hu will smash you into pieces with one punch? Li Hu looked at Ling Xiao with a little surprise. At this moment, he finally understood that Ling Xiao had actually borrowed his power to cultivate the indestructible war body, and at this moment, he had finally broken through the Four Extremities and broken through to the third level. However, Li Hu was not angry. Instead, the battle intent in his eyes became stronger and stronger, as if he had seen a prey. Thank you, senior brother. Otherwise, if I wanted to break through to the third level, I'm afraid it would take at least a few months. As a reward, I won't break senior brother's limbs. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Master Hu doesn't need your reward. Come. Just have a good fight with Master Hu. But this time, Master Hu will use his full strength. Be careful. Li Hu laughed, and the aura around his body suddenly became incomparably pure. He clenched his fist, and a bright light erupted from his fist. It was vast and boundless, and eternally indestructible. Under this fist, Li Hu's physical strength was condensed to the extreme, and it had the power to suppress everything. Chapter 1320. This is the Light Seal? Ling Xiao was slightly surprised. He did not expect Li Hu to have cultivated the Light Seal, one of the 9 ultimate techniques. Moreover, he used the indestructible combat body to activate the Light Seal. Rumble. Li Hu held the Light Seal in his hand, and the pure light around him was dazzling. It was as if he was holding a sacred mountain, and he suddenly pressed it down on Ling Xiao. Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a strong desire to fight. Evil qi spread out from his body, and his body was sparkling and translucent. However, his palm had become as black as ink, as if there was an endless amount of evil qi flowing in it. A palm knife cut across the void, containing a blazing killing intent. It was as if it wanted to send countless living beings to hell. The first move of the 7 forms of adjudication. At this moment, Ling Xiao finally used it. It's the 7 forms of adjudication? Interesting. Junior Brother Long, you've just entered the academy. This is a great opportunity. Li Hu's eyes lit up, and he could not help but exclaim. The 9 ultimate techniques of the War God Temple required 10,000 contribution points to exchange for. They were incomparably precious. He had spent decades to accumulate enough contribution points. He did not expect Long Outyin to obtain 2 ultimate techniques after entering the academy for just over a month. Most importantly, although Ling Xiao's 7 forms of adjudication was just a beginner, he already had the intent to judge all living beings and carry out heavenly punishment. Rumble. The dazzling blade light contained endless darkness, as if it had shrouded the entire space. But then, a dazzling light tore through the darkness, as if it was an eternal sun, and exploded. Ling Xiao did not hold back this time, and he clashed with Li Hu with all his might. Li Hu's body trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Although he had broken the first move of adjudication with one punch, he was sent flying by Ling Xiao. The two of them were sent flying at the same time. It could be said that they were evenly matched. One should know that Ling Xiao had just broken through to the 3rd level of the indestructible combat body, and his limbs had not been tempered yet. However, Li Hu had already tempered his limbs and reached the four extremities realm. Furthermore, he had a powerful bloodline and an unparalleled physical body. How could he not gain the upper hand? Could it be that Long Outyen also had a special bloodline or constitution? Again, Li Hu's face was filled with unwillingness to admit defeat. Blood qi rose from his body, and he used the light seal to attack Ling Xiao. He was shrouded in light, like a Buddha. He looked mysterious and unfathomable. Ling Xiao's indestructible combat body and the 7 forms of adjudication, and continued to fight with Li Hu. Ling Xiao could feel that Li Hu's strength was indeed very strong, far stronger than Chu Yunfei's. Under this pressure, Ling Xiao's comprehension of the undying war body and the 7 styles of judgment improved by leaps and bounds. Even the speed at which he swallowed the divine liquid increased a lot. The spectators were all dumbfounded. They originally thought that Long Outyen would not be able to last long in Li Hu's hands and would be beaten into a pulp. However, they did not expect Long Outyen to not only hold on for so long, he even broke through in the middle of the battle. Just entered the academy, a mere middle-stage true god cultivation actually has such powerful combat strength? Even if his body had become a god, his battle prowess couldn't possibly be so terrifying, right? Li Hu is said to be someone no one dares to offend in the school. Looks like Long Outyen's name is going to spread throughout the entire academy soon. His talent is too terrifying. Many senior disciples sighed and finally started to take this new junior brother seriously. Ling Xiao and Li Hu's battle had completely stunned them. Boom! Ling Xiao and Li Hu collided fiercely, and Ling Xiao was sent flying again. Fortunately, this was the god of war pagoda. If they were in the outside world, who knew how many mountains would have been destroyed by them? Suddenly, Ling Xiao's great void token lit up. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. Then, he said with a strange expression, "My time to cultivate in the god of war pagoda is up." Ling Xiao agreed to 2 hours, so when the time was up, the great void token would naturally remind him. If he did not go out, he would probably be forcefully teleported out. Li Hu was also a little dumbfounded. He scratched his head and looked at Ling Xiao. "Junior brother Long, the battle with you today was very satisfying. I'm going into seclusion soon. When I break through to the mid-stage of the heavenly god realm and break through to the 4th level of the indestructible combat body, I'll look for you again." "Senior brother, I'll wait for you," Ling Xiao said with a smile. Then, he turned and left the god of war pagoda. As for Li Hu, he was directly taken away by the disciples of the discipline hall. He did not resist and had an indifferent look on his face. After all, he was already a regular of the discipline hall. At worst, he would be beaten up and grounded for a few days. He could use this time to cultivate. He had also gained a lot from the battle with Ling Xiao today. The Xian Wang also successfully broke through to the early stage of the heavenly god realm under the 5th level's gravity. He also left the god of war pagoda with Ling Xiao. Yi Liangchen and Feng Ya also broke through to the early stage of the true god realm. Yin Tiansong broke through to the perfected true god realm. Overall, they had gained a lot from entering the god of war pagoda this time. "Big brother, you actually fought with that guy Li Hu? I think I missed a good show." Yi Liangchen's eyes lit up when he heard the Xian Wang describe the battle between Ling Xiao and Li Hu. "That's right. Senior brother Long, I also heard that the hothead Li Hu's physical body is unparalleled. He is simply a beast. He even dared to attack the dean. If you can fight to a draw with him, I'm afraid those senior disciples won't dare to provoke you in the future." Yin Tiansong looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of admiration. This time, Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing went for wool and came home shorn. They gave Li Hu 2 drops of the sacred liquid to teach me a lesson. In the end, Li Hu helped me break through to the next level. However, these 2 fellows are haunting me. They are full of evil tricks. I will teach them a lesson sooner or later." Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. "Senior brother Long, you still have to be careful. Lu Yan's grandfather is the deputy hall master, Lu Feng. Lu Wenqing's brother is the Xian Hai King, Lu Wu. These 2 people are not to be trifled with." Although the Xian Wang knew that Ling Xiao was powerful, he still warned him. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, I will return the favor 100 times over. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Then, he looked at Yi Liangchen and the others and said, "Have you all experienced the benefits of the God of War Pagoda? There is also the deity's lake and the martial repository. If we want to become stronger in Ares College, we have to earn more contribution points. Otherwise, I'm afraid it will be difficult for us to move forward." Yi Liangchen nodded and said, "That's right. This God of War Pagoda is really a good place. If we can keep cultivating here, I'm afraid our cultivation will improve by leaps and bounds. Big brother, do you have any good ideas?" Everyone looked at Ling Xiao, their eyes filled with anticipation. After coming out of the God of War Pagoda, they felt the thin divine qi outside. They almost wanted to cultivate in the God of War Pagoda forever. Chapter 1321. Let's go to the Divine Devil Space and kill demons to exchange for contribution points. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes revealing a strong desire to battle. Divine Devil Space? Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard about the Divine Devil Space. The Divine Devil Space was a gap between the God Realm and the Devil Realm. However, due to the restrictions of the laws of the two realms, Saint Realm experts were unable to enter the Divine Devil Space. The strongest person in the Divine Devil Space was only a God King expert. The Divine Devil Space was extremely vast, and there was an extremely chaotic God Spirit Qi and Devil Spirit Qi. There were also many ferocious demons. Ares College had a teleportation array that led to the Divine Devil Space. It could also be said that many colleges in the God Realm had such teleportation arrays and used the Divine Devil Space as a training ground for their disciples. Killing demons in the Devil Spirit Realm could earn 1 contribution point, killing demons in the True Demon Realm could earn 10 contribution points, killing demons in the Devil Realm could earn 100 contribution points, and killing a demon god king could earn 10,000 contribution points. In addition, there were all kinds of treasures in the Divine Devil Space that could be exchanged for contribution points. In ancient times, the Divine Devil Space was also a battlefield between the God Realm and the Devil Realm. Therefore, there were many inheritances of strong experts. There was no lack of lucky people who obtained the inheritances of strong experts and became the strongest of their generation. However, the Divine Devil Space was also very dangerous. Humans would enter to hunt demons, but there would also be powerful demons who specialized in hunting human geniuses. There were even some scum of the human race who were willing to side with the demons. They were even more vicious. However, along with the danger, there were also huge benefits. If they could kill a demon god king, they would immediately be able to earn 10,000 contribution points in exchange for an absolute art from the Martial Depository Tower. Okay, let's go to the Divine Devil Space. Yi Liangchen said excitedly. He had long wanted to experience the Divine Devil Space. Now that Ling Xiao and King Xian were leading the team, they had some ability to protect themselves. As long as they did not encounter a demon god king, even if it was a demon god realm demon, they could escape unscathed. We will rest for 3 days. You guys stabilize your cultivation. After 3 days, we will go to the Divine Devil Space. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Naturally, no one had any objections. They all returned to Ling Xiao Pavilion and began to prepare for the trip to the Divine Devil Space in 3 days. Ling Xiao went to the treasure hall to exchange for some treasures that could be used in the Divine Devil Space. What? Not only did Li Hu not teach Long Outyin a lesson, but he even helped Long Outyin achieve a breakthrough? This bastard, I won't let him off. When Lu Wenqing heard about the results of the battle between Ling Xiao and Li Hu, his eyes were filled with disbelief and anger. He took out 2 drops of holy liquid and asked Li Hu to teach Long Outyin a lesson. However, after waiting for a long time, he heard that Ling Zhao's indestructible battle body had broken through to the quadruple extremities realm during his battle with Li Hu. While he was shocked, he was also filled with anger towards the hothead Li Hu. Bastard! This guy dared to swallow our holy liquid, he's simply courting death. When he comes out of the discipline hall, I must find someone to teach him a lesson. Lu Yen was also incomparably angry. This hothead Li Hu was too shameless. He took the holy liquid but did not do anything, making them gnash their teeth in hatred. My big brother is about to come out of seclusion. At that time, I will not let Li Hu and Long Outyin off. Lu Wenqing gritted his teeth, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his eyes. He had to snatch back the Black Tortoise Sage's inheritance from Long Outyin as soon as possible. He felt a sense of urgency in his heart. Long Outyin's growth was too fast. If he was allowed to grow at this rate, when he completely digested the Black Tortoise Sage's inheritance, it would be difficult to stop him. The treasure hall was the place where Ares College traded all kinds of treasures. Here, as long as one had enough contribution points, one could exchange for all kinds of treasures, even powerful holy treasures. One could also use all kinds of treasures to exchange for contribution points. The treasure hall was one of the two most bustling places in Ares College. The other place was the mission hall, where one could also obtain contribution points by completing the corresponding task. When Ling Xiao arrived at the treasure hall, he saw many disciples exchanging for treasures. All kinds of treasures dazzled him. Junior brother, are you looking to exchange for some treasures? I'm very happy to serve you. A young lady in a green dress walked towards Ling Xiao with a smile. She looked very delicate and pretty, and her cultivation level was at the great true God realm. Her entire body emitted a very pure aura. That's right. I'm preparing to go to the God and Devil space. Are there any treasures that I need? Recommend them. Ling Xiao said calmly. The girl in the green dress looked at Ling Xiao with some surprise. The God and Devil space was very dangerous. Usually, only the heavenly God realm disciples dared to enter it. This junior brother seemed to only be at the middle true God realm. He must be a new disciple. Could it be that he was with a senior brother? She thought to herself, but her face was still full of smiles. Okay, junior brother. The most important things to go to the God and Devil space are the spirit cleansing pills and divine escape talismans. In the God and Devil space, the chi of the gods and devils is very dense, so it can't replenish the chi of the gods and devils. Once the chi of the gods and devils enters the body, it will be very troublesome. You must use the spirit cleansing pills to remove it. The divine escape talisman can quickly teleport you back to the ancient city if you meet an unstoppable enemy. Spirit cleansing pills and divine escape talismans? Can I take a look at them? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he asked calmly. But, junior brother, these are the spirit cleansing pills and divine escape talismans. The spirit cleansing pills are 10 contribution points each. The divine escape talismans are more expensive, 100 contribution points each. The girl in the green dress took out a jade bottle and a jade box. She opened them and presented them to Ling Xiao. The spirit cleansing pills shone with a green light. The markings on the pills were uniform and the aura was pure. They emitted a faint fragrance. The divine escape talisman was a silver talisman paper. There were mysterious lines drawn on it, and it emitted a spatial fluctuation. Ling Xiao nodded. The spirit cleansing pills were high-grade divine pills. They were sufficient for experts below the divine king realm. They could indeed dissolve the chi of the gods and devils. However, Ling Xiao did not need them. The sky-devouring secret skill could devour everything. Any kind of energy was nothing to him. However, Xian Wang and Yi Liangchen still needed to buy some. But, give me 10 spirit cleansing pills and 5 divine escape talismans. Ling Xiao said calmly. He then handed over his God of War token. Chapter 1322. Long Junior? It's you. 10 spirit cleansing pills for 100 contribution points, 5 divine escape talismans for 500 contribution points, a total of 600 contribution points. The girl in the green dress saw Ling Zhao's name on the Ares token and was shocked. Her eyes were filled with curiosity. In the past few days, the news of Long Outyin, the champion of the Great Void Trial, defeating Chu Yunfei had spread throughout Ares College. Many people knew about Long Outyin. The girl in the green dress obviously knew about it too. She saw that Ling Xiao was only in the middle true God realm, just as the rumors said. She was shocked. Junior Long, the divine escape talisman can only teleport you within 100,000 miles of the ancient city. If you exceed 100,000 miles, the Divine Escape Talisman will be useless. There is also a Divine Escape Talisman. As long as you are in the mythical space, no matter how far you are, you can teleport back to the ancient city instantly. However, the Divine Escape Talisman is too expensive. It costs 10,000 contribution points, so I didn't tell you. The girl in the green dress thought for a while and said to Ling Xiao, 100,000 miles around the ancient city? Thank you. In addition, I need some talisman paper and divine beast blood for drawing talismans. With these 400 contribution points, you can prepare the best talisman paper and divine beast blood for me. Ling Xiao nodded and said to the girl in the green dress, 10,000 contribution points could buy 100 divine escape talismans. It was indeed too precious. However, people would buy such life-saving items no matter how expensive they were. Ling Xiao couldn't afford it even if he wanted to. Junior Long, do you want to learn Talisman Dao? But it just so happens that we've recently received the highest quality talisman papers. 1 contribution point for 1 talisman paper and 1 drop of scarlet flame bird's blood. How about I give junior brother Long 200 talisman papers and 200 drops of scarlet flame bird's blood? The girl in the green dress asked in surprise. However, she immediately introduced it to Ling Xiao. I want to give it a try. That's all. Thank you. Ling Xiao smiled and said, although the Heart Saint knew the basics of the Great Void Talisman scripture, it contained the cultivation method of Heart Talisman. The so-called Heart Talisman was to draw talismans with the power of one's heart. Legend had it that the Heart Talisman drawn by the Great Void Emperor could upgrade holy treasures, increase the quality of supreme pills, and even summon the legendary 9 emperors to fight for him. Heart talismans were the most dazzling existences in Emperor Taishu's era. Because a heart talisman didn't have to be drawn with talisman paper at all, and it utilized the energy of the heart to draw out the laws of the heavens and the earth and condense the energy of the Grand Tao, causing it to be unfathomably profound. However, Ling Xiao's Great Void Heart Charm scripture was only at the first level, and there wasn't much heart force condensed in the heart realm. It wasn't enough for him to draw talismans, so he had to buy some talisman paper and divine beast blood to practice. In the end, Ling Xiao returned to High Heaven Pavilion with 10 spiritual clarity pills, 5 divine escape talismans, some talismans, and some divine beast blood. As soon as Ling Xiao left the treasure hall, a disciple who seemed to be exchanging treasures glanced at Ling Xiao's back before hurriedly leaving. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in High Heaven Pavilion's secret room, cultivating while thinking about the treasures he would need to prepare to enter the divine space. The Heaven-Devouring Sword can't be used anymore. The Xian Kuan Sword and Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet were both perfect saint treasures, but these 2 items were extremely important. Furthermore, with my current cultivation, I can only use the Xian Kuan Sword once. It can only be used as a life-saving trump card. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The Heaven-Devouring Sword could easily expose his identity. The Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet was rumored to have a total of 81 pieces. After Ling Xiao came to the God world, he realized that the 9 pieces of Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet were all perfect saint treasures, even stronger than the Xian Kuan Sword. The Xian Kuan Sword and the 9 pieces of Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet had been nurturing and refining in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. The speed of refining the Xian Kuan Sword was considered normal, but he could only use the surface of the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet. There was no way for him to completely refine it. Such a treasure could only be used as a last resort. However, the Xian Kuan Sword could be used. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation, if he used the Xian Kuan Sword, as long as the opponent wasn't on guard, he should be able to kill a God King expert. Those below the God King realm wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow from the Xian Kuan Sword. In this mythical space, in addition to killing experts of the demon clan to exchange for contribution points, the most important thing is to cultivate the indestructible war body and the 7 styles of adjudication. Only in a life and death battle can I comprehend these 2 unique skills faster. Ling Xiao had too many secrets on him, especially the inheritance of the Great Void Emperor. Hence, he had to minimize the risk of exposing them. If he could avoid using his own martial arts, He would try his best to use the martial arts of Ares College. This time, he had to obtain enough contribution points. After all, the holy liquid in the treasure hall cost 1,000 contribution points per drop. Ling Zhao's own cultivation and the opening of the flowing time temple required a large amount of holy liquid. If Ling Zhao wanted to obtain first place in the generational competition 3 years later, and then enter the War God Temple as an invincible expert, he had to obtain a large amount of resources. Time was too tight. After Ling Zhao thought everything through, he began to cultivate. He had gained a lot from the battle with Li Hu. From Li Hu, he had seen the various uses of the indestructible war body. There were even areas that he hadn't noticed before. After perfecting it, his indestructible war body had become more complete. As long as he could find enough Xian Huang Qi in the godly demon space to refine his limbs and complete the cultivation of the 4 extremes, he would be able to break through quickly and reach the 4th level of the 5 organs deity palace. The most important thing is that Jin Sei is about to wake up. Ling Zhao laughed bitterly. These days, Jin Sei's vitality had become stronger and stronger. According to his estimates, she would be completely awake in a few days. After this time, Jin Sei would probably not remember him at all. He had to find a way to let Jin Sei enter the most supreme Dao palace to cultivate the most supreme Dao scripture and recover her previous memories. Thinking about how he would have to face an unfamiliar Jin Sei, Ling Zhao felt a dull ache in his heart. No matter what, I have to face what I have to face. I have too much hope on my shoulders, so I have to have enough strength to protect it all. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of determination. The wordless heavenly book and the fortune jade plate were great opportunities, but also great karma and danger. Now that Ling Zhao had obtained all of this, he had to face all kinds of dangers and challenges that came with it. One could imagine that once Ling Zhao's identity was exposed, he would become the enemy of the entire world. The sages of the God world would come and tear him to pieces. 3 days later, Ling Zhao left the High Heaven Pavilion with Xian Wang, Yi Liangchen, Feng Ye, and Yin Tiansong. They arrived at the teleportation array that led to the godly demon space. After paying enough god stones, Ling Zhao and the others entered the godly demon space through the teleportation array. Chapter 1323. The ancient city was an ancient city that was jointly managed by the 5 great academies. Each of the 5 great academies had a divine king overseeing it all year round. The ancient city was engraved with a powerful array that was reinforced by the experts of the 5 great academies. It was unknown how many layers of killing and trapping arrays there were. Even if a saint came here, he would not be able to break through it. There were a total of 33 cities like the ancient city in the divine devil space, corresponding to the 33 heavens. The divine devil space was incomparably vast. It was the barrier between the divine world and the devil world. It was also the ancient battlefield of the great divine devil war. Both the divine world and the devil world attached great importance to it. It was said that the 33 ancient cities were engraved with a supreme emperor ray. Experts of the saint realm and above could not enter at all. They would be killed by the power of the array. This place had also become the training ground for many geniuses. They fought the devil race here and sharpened their cultivation. However, there were also some experts of the devil race who specialized in hunting human geniuses. They had been fighting for so many years. When Ling Zhao and the others opened their eyes, they had already arrived at the ancient city. The teleportation array of the ancient city was located at the center. There were 4 bluestone roads that led to the 4 gates of the city. This ancient city is so lively, Yi Liangchen said in surprise. There were many experts in the ancient city. Looking around, they were at least in the divine spirit realm. True God realm and heavenly God realm experts could be seen everywhere. On both sides of the street, there were many shops, inns, restaurants, markets, and stalls. Everything could be seen everywhere. The diamond horn of the Horned Demon Clan is a supreme treasure for refining divine king weapons. You only need a drop of saint liquid to take it away. A beauty of the Rabbit Demon Clan. Whether you take her back to cultivate or as a servant, she is an excellent choice. Only 2 drops of saint liquid. Red flame magic stone on sale. Only 1,000 divine crystals. 10,000 years red fruit. You can take it home for 5,000 divine crystals. On both sides of the street, the experts who temporarily set up their territories were shouting with all their might to attract customers. In the ancient city, the main cities had teleportation arrays that led to the divine devil space. As long as you paid enough divine stones or divine crystals, anyone could enter the divine devil space to explore and hunt the devil race. The various heavenly treasures they obtained, and even the specialties of the devil realm, would be sold in the ancient city. In the ancient city, divine crystals and saint liquid were hard currency. Although divine stones could also be used, they were far inferior to divine crystals and saint liquid. 10,000 deity crystals could be exchanged for 1 drop of saint liquid. The god and devil space was filled with fiend god chi, so he needed god crystals and saint liquid to replenish his cultivation, or even to cultivate. Yi Liangchen and the others were dazzled. I'm afraid we'll have to stay in the god and devil space for a while. During this time, we'll have to kill some demon powerhouses. Their magic crystals can be exchanged for contribution points, and their bodies, fur, and bones can be sold in the god and devil space. If you're lucky, cultivating here will be much faster than cultivating in the academy. Ling Xiao looked at Yi Liangchen and the others and smiled. Are we going to hunt the demons now? Xian Wang's eyes flashed as he slowly asked. Go now. The god and devil space lacks everything except the demons. With the terrifying reproduction ability of the demons, we'll never be able to kill them all. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and then he led the group out of the city. Selling the latest map of the god and devil space. It's only 1,000 divine crystals. Suddenly, a hawking sound from a stall in front of him attracted Ling Xiao's attention. It was a burly man with a simple and honest face. The blood energy around him was strong, and his cultivation had reached the early heavenly god realm. There were many jade slips on his stall. You have the latest map of the god and devil space? Ling Xiao walked over and asked the tall and sturdy man. That's right. This is indeed the latest map of the god and devil space. My companions and I have perfected it. The ancient city has a radius of 100,000 miles, the distribution of the demon tribes, and all kinds of dangerous places. Fellow cultivator, would you like to have a copy? The burly man's eyes lit up when he saw Ling Xiao, and he quickly introduced the map to him. Give me a copy. Do you accept divine stones? Ling Xiao said calmly. The maps of the god and devil space were not easy to sell, mainly because the changes were too fast. A demon tribe recorded on the map might be massacred in 2 days. With an outdated map, not only would it not be able to guide the target and direction, but it might also put one in danger. The burly man shouted until his throat was about to smoke, but in the end he only sold a few copies of the map. I'll take divine stones too. I'll give you 10 million divine stones. Fellow cultivator, don't worry. My map is absolutely perfect. The 3 demon tribes recorded on it were just discovered yesterday. The burly man whispered to Ling Xiao. 3 demon tribes? Then why don't you do it yourselves? Ling Xiao asked in surprise. Those 3 demon tribes are not to be trifled with. There are demon powerhouses in the complete heavenly god realm guarding them. We've attacked them a few times, but we've always returned in defeat. The burly man said with a wry smile. All right. Ling Xiao nodded and handed the 10 million divine stones to the burly man. Then he took a jade slip. Ling Xiao inspected it with his soul, and a map from the jade slip appeared in his mind. The map had detailed markings of several dangerous places within a radius of 50,000 kilometers, as well as the locations of the 3 demon tribes. When Ling Xiao was about to turn and leave, the burly man stopped him and said mysteriously, Fellow cultivator, I have a piece of information here. Do you want it? It's about the corpse of the great demon saint. I'll tell you if you want it for 10 million divine stones. The corpse of the great demon saint. Ling Xiao was shocked and asked suspiciously, since you have information about the corpse of the great demon saint, why don't you snatch it back yourselves? The burly man laughed bitterly and said, because there's a divine king realm demonic beast guarding the corpse. There's also a powerful formation around it. A few big forces are already preparing to join forces to snatch the corpse of the great demon saint. However, not many people know about it. I'll only charge you 10 million divine stones. It's not much, right? Alright, I'll give you another 10 million divine stones. I'll take it. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. 10 million divine stones was nothing to him. However, the burly man's information was worth the risk. The corpse of the great demon saint was full of treasures. Whether it was the blood, flesh, or bones, they were all supreme treasures. They could even be exchanged for a complete holy treasure. Most importantly, the blood of the great demon saint contained a vast amount of energy. If Ling Xiao could obtain a few drops of the great demon saint's blood, it would be enough to increase his cultivation by leaps and bounds. Chapter 1324. Great. My friend, the location of the great demon saint's body is located in the Sky Devil Valley, which is 200,000 miles southwest of here. This is the exact location. The burly man chuckled and sent a message to Ling Xiao that contained the location of the great demon saint's body. Thank you so much. A gleam of light flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes. He nodded, and then he left with the Xian King and the others. Senior Brother Long, do you really believe what the burly man said? Did he really sell you the location of the great demon saint's body so easily? Xian Wang looked at Ling Xiao and asked slowly. Of course I don't. Ling Xiao smiled and said, I can feel that the burly man did not have good intentions when he sold us the location of the great demon saint's body. However, I don't think he was lying. The great demon saint's body should be there, but I'm afraid it's a trap. A trap? Brother, that bastard dares to set us up? Let's go back and kill him. Yap Liangchen sneered. Don't worry. If he is up to something, we will find out sooner or later. Let's go and kill some demons to get used to the mythical space first. Ling Xiao smiled and said. In the blink of an eye, the 5 of them had left the ancient city. In the mythical space, the sky was vast and the surroundings were desolate. In front of them was an endless wasteland with a few barren mountains standing in the middle of it. According to this map, the nearest demon tribe is located in a valley which is 20,000 miles away from here. There is a demonic stone mine there, and there should be a few hundred elites from the tiger demon tribe there. However, the demons are very cunning. After they have finished mining the demonic stone mine, they will leave immediately. We have to speed up. Ling Xiao looked at the map and said to the rest. A few hundred tiger demons. Hee, these are all contribution points. We can't let them run away. Let's go there quickly. Yap Liangchen said excitedly. Let's go. Ling Xiao smiled and took the lead. He turned into a ray of light and flew towards the valley where the tiger demon tribe was located. Xian Wang, Yap Liangchen, Feng Ye, and Yin Tiansong followed behind him. Not long after Ling Xiao left the city, 3 figures left the city as well. The leader was a middle-aged man in a black robe. He looked very dignified. He was a complete heavenly god. Behind him were 2 late-stage heavenly gods. City Lord, Long Outyin, and the others should be heading towards the tiger demon tribe. Should we capture Long Outyin now? An expert in black armor cupped his hands and bowed. Don't worry. Long Outyin had bought 5 divine escape talismans. If they couldn't catch him this time and let him escape, they would be in trouble. It must be absolutely foolproof. The black-robed middle-aged man's eyes flashed as he slowly said. If Ling Xiao was here, he would definitely be able to recognize that this black-robed middle-aged man was actually the city governor of Dazzling Gold City, Lu Yangfeng. 3 days ago, Lu Yangfeng had received the news from Lu Wenqing. Therefore, he had used the teleportation array of another city to enter the supreme ancient city. As expected, he had met Ling Xiao. When he thought of the Black Tortoise Saint's inheritance, even Lu Yangfeng's heart couldn't help but burn. According to Lu Wenqing's memory, Ling Xiao had at least 1 flawless saint art and a flawless saint sword. Lu Yangfeng was also very cautious. Although Long Outyin was only a middle true god, his combat strength was extremely strong. Moreover, he had the Xian Kuan sword. If he used the power of the Xian Kuan sword, it was very likely that he would be seriously injured or even killed. His only concern now was the divine escape talisman and the Xian Kuan sword on Ling Xiao. Then what should we do? Another subordinate asked. There seems to be an expert in the Tiger Demon tribe who is about to break through to the Demon God King realm. We will follow Long Outyen and the others. If they really go to the Tiger Demon tribe, we will report to the Tiger Demon tribe. As long as we can force out the Saint Sword in his hand, we will be able to capture him. Lu Yangfeng's eyes flashed with killing intent as he said coldly. He already had a way to deal with the divine escape talisman. However, the flawless Saint Sword made him extremely wary. Now, it seemed like he could only think of a way to reap the benefits. Inform the Tiger Demon tribe? City Lord, if this matter is known by others, I'm afraid we will become traitors of the God realm. It will be difficult for us to gain a foothold in the God realm. The two subordinates' faces changed slightly as they couldn't help but say. They didn't have any psychological burden in killing Ling Xiao. However, they couldn't convince themselves to collude with the demon tribe. When the time comes, as long as we kill all 5 of them, who will know about this matter? Don't worry, after the matter is done, I will also teach you the flawless saint art to cultivate. Lu Yangfeng said with a faint smile. Flawless saint art? Thank you, City Lord. The two subordinates' eyes lit up and they immediately agreed. All the worries of conscience were thrown to the back of their minds. The 3 of them all wore treasures that could conceal their aura. They quietly followed behind Ling Xiao and the others and chased after them. In the mythical space, desolation and loneliness were the eternal themes. Occasionally, there would be a green mountain with flowers and trees. It was simply like an oasis in the desert. It was extremely rare. Ling Xiao and the other 3 moved forward and flew in the direction of the Tiger Demon tribe. Within 10,000 miles of the ancient city, there was no demon tribe at all. No demon tribe dared to approach this area. Within 10,000 miles, there were mostly small demon tribes. The strongest was only at the great circle of the heavenly god realm. Only in the area beyond 10,000 miles would there be large demon tribes. There were even many demon god king powerhouses. Moreover, there were countless treasures. Therefore, the ambitious powerhouses would go to the area beyond 10,000 miles to hunt demon tribe members and search for treasures. After all, the area within a radius of 100,000 miles had almost been completely searched by others. Ling Xiao and the others flew more than 20,000 miles. It was very peaceful along the way. They didn't even see a single low-level demon tribe member. However, when Ling Xiao and the others flew over a barren mountain in front of them, dozens of black arrows were shot towards them in an instant. Divine power rose around Ling Xiao's body. With a palm strike, the dozens of arrows exploded one after another. They didn't even get close to Ling Xiao and the others. The imps? It's a pity that their cultivation is too low. They're not a threat. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He saw that there were dozens of 3 feet tall short people in the barren mountain below. They were very thin and weak. Demon chi rose around their bodies. They were holding bows and arrows and shooting at Ling Xiao and the others. They were mumbling something that Ling Xiao didn't understand, but their eyes were incomparably excited. Dozens of true demon realm fellows? Yi Liangchen, Fengya, and Tiansong, the 3 of you go down and practice. Get rid of them. Ling Xiao said indifferently. The imps could be said to be the most common low-level demon tribe in the demon realm. They were basically cannon fodder, miners, and coolies in the demon realm. Their status was very low. Chapter 1325. Ling Xiao looked carefully and discovered that several mines had been dug out from the barren mountain below. There were also imps in the mines, and it was unknown what they were digging for. Ling Xiao and the other 4 must have flown over here and were discovered by them. Therefore, they immediately drew their bows and shot arrows, wanting to kill Ling Xiao and the other 4. However, they probably didn't expect that they would kick an iron plate this time. No problem. You imp scum, why aren't you kneeling down and stretching out your necks? Are you waiting for me to chop off your heads? Yi Liangchen excitedly rushed towards the barren mountain and punched down. Fengya also took out her primal frost divine sword. Sword intent rose from her body, and the ancient sword shone brightly. The sword light seemed to be able to seal the world in ice as it slashed towards the imps. Yin Tiansong was the most cunning. He rolled his eyes and instantly used his escape technique to enter the mines of the barren mountain. He rushed towards the imps in the mines. Bang! Yi Liangshan's fist landed, and immediately, several imps were sent flying. The surrounding imps were shouting loudly as they rushed towards Yi Liangshan. Their bodies were surrounded by demonic light, and sharp nails grew out of their hands. They were like sharp blades, and cold light radiated in all directions. Clang! Sword chi erupted. Feng Ye fell from the void, and with a slash of her primal frost divine sword, those imps were cut into two halves. These imp powerhouses had low cultivations and low intelligence. Although they didn't fear death, they weren't a match for Yi Liangshan and Feng Ye. Soon they were all killed. Not long after, Yin Tiansong also came out of the mines. The imps in the mines were all killed by him, leaving behind a guy who looked like the leader of the imps. He was tied up and brought in front of Ling Xiao. Senior Brother Long, these imps were sent here by the tiger demon race to mine for demonic spirit stones. Yin Tiansong took out several black demonic spirit stones. They exuded a rich demonic spirit energy. There are demonic spirit stones in this barren mountain? That's strange. Can you understand what I'm saying? If you can, then nod your head. Otherwise, I will kill you right now. Ling Xiao lightly said as he glared at the imp leader. The imp leader's face was filled with panic. He nodded again and again. His cultivation was actually at the great circle of the true demon realm, but unfortunately, he was no match for Yin Tiansong and was directly captured by Yin Tiansong. Very good. What's your name? Why are you here? Ling Xiao asked calmly. The imp leader mumbled a great deal. Although his voice was cryptic, Ling Xiao was able to understand the meaning behind his words through the fluctuations of his primordial spirit. My lord, this lowly one is called 3 Idiots. I was sent here by the Tiger Demon Clan's Lord Hugun. He wanted me to mine demonic spirit stones here and then use them to set up the formation. Ling Xiao's expression was a bit strange. If the name of the imp race was translated, it meant 3 idiots. Yi Liangshan was speechless and said, "Don't tell me you have 2 brothers? One is called Big Dumb and the other is called 2 Dumb?" "That's right. My lord, how do you know that Big Fool and 2 Fool are my brothers?" 3 Dumb looked at Yi Liangshan curiously. Yi Liangshan chuckled and was suddenly speechless. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and said, 3 Dumb, you said that the Tiger Demon Clan's Lord Hugun wants to set up a formation? What formation? What do they want to do? 3 Dumb thought for a moment and said, "That's right, they want to set up a formation. As for what formation they want to set up, I don't know. It seems like they want to create some kind of treasure. We could have finished mining all the demonic spirit stones today, but we didn't expect to meet these milords." 3 Dumb hung his head dejectedly and his heart was very nervous. He was afraid that Ling Xiao and the others would not be satisfied and directly kill him. "Then bring us to the Tiger Demon Clan's tribe. When we get there, I will let you go," Ling Xiao said calmly, but his voice was full of unquestionable fluctuations. 3 Dumb nodded and agreed. Then, Ling Xiao and the others continued to fly towards the Tiger Demon Clan's tribe with 3 Dumb. Along the way, Ling Xiao also learned some details about the Tiger Demon Clan from 3 Dumb. The Tiger Demon Clan's Lord Hugun was indeed at the great circle of the Devil Heaven realm and his combat strength was extremely strong. After all, the Tiger Demon Clan was a middle-level demon clan. They were not comparable to trash like the Imp Clan. In the Tiger Demon Clan, there were a total of more than 300 clansmen. According to 3 Dumb's guess, there were probably more than 20 Devil Heaven realm powerhouses. The rest were at the Devil Spirit realm and true Devil realm cultivation. Overall, this was a very huge force. "Ling Xiao, do you feel that someone is following us?" King Xian's eyes flashed. He approached Ling Xiao and sent him a message silently. "You also noticed? There are indeed people following us. If they are not sent by Chu Yunfei, I'm afraid they are sent by Lu Wenqing and Lu Yan." Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes revealing a trace of coldness. He guessed that the possibility of Lu Wenqing and Lu Yan sending people to kill him was higher. No matter how stupid Lu Wenqing was, he probably already suspected that the Black Tortoise Saint's inheritance was obtained by Ling Xiao. It was just that Lu Wenqing and Lu Yen were really haunting him. "What do you want to do?" King Xian asked. "If my guess is correct, I'm afraid that these people already know that we have the divine escape talisman on us and are looking for an opportunity. However, they should be targeting me. If anything happens later, you take the three of them and leave first. I will hold them back." Ling Xiao sneered. "Are you confident?" King Xian asked. "Don't worry, I won't die," Ling Xiao said. King Xian nodded and continued to fly forward. Soon, they arrived at the valley where the Tiger Demon clan was located. In front of them was a barren mountain range. The mountain peaks rose and fell continuously, but they were all bare without the slightest bit of green. Moreover, Ling Xiao could feel that there was an extremely dense devil qi rising in front of them. "Sir, the Tiger Demon clan is in that valley, but most of the clansmen have been sent to the surroundings to mine devil spiritual stones. At this moment, there shouldn't be many tiger demons in the tribe." Three Dumb pointed at the huge basin in the middle of the barren mountains in front of them and whispered to Ling Xiao. "Senior Brother Long, why don't I go to the valley to take a look? I will use the earth escape technique. They definitely won't be able to find me. Wait until I find out the situation in the valley, then we will think of a way." Yin Tiansong volunteered. Ling Xiao was just about to say something when his eyes suddenly flashed. He smiled faintly and said, "I'm afraid there's no need for that. Someone is one step ahead of us. It seems that they have already started a war with the Tiger Demon clan." Boom! As soon as Ling Xiao's voice fell, an earth-shattering sound of thunder came from the basin in front of them. It was as if a bright divine light had exploded, and a black mushroom cloud appeared in the void. Immediately after, intense battle cries could be heard. Devil light and divine light intertwined, and a great battle broke out in the valley of the Tiger Demon clan. P.S. I've been writing until now. It's already the 8th chapter. There are still 2 more chapters that I can't finish today. I'll put them together with tomorrow's update. Chapter 1327. Senior Brother, don't worry. Senior Brother Long is very strong. It's just a demonic bug. He will kill it very quickly. King Xian replied calmly. Wang Chong and the other disciples of the Great Zhou Academy were curious. Ling Xiao seemed to only be in the early stage of the true immortal realm, but King Xian trusted him so much that he could kill the demonic bug quickly. This made them more confident in Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao's body emitted a dazzling light. His body was unparalleled. He turned into a dazzling ray of light and rushed toward the black demonic bug. The experts of the Tiger Demon clan also knew Ling Xiao's plan. They all rushed toward him without regard for their lives. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out. The fist print shook the void. A true demon realm expert of the Tiger Demon clan in front of him was directly blown apart by his punch. Ling Xiao's legs were like whips, sweeping in all directions. The dozen or so experts of the Tiger Demon clan all coughed up blood and retreated. Their faces were filled with shock. The godly demon clan valued their physical bodies the most. Their physical bodies were even comparable to those of the demon clan in the demon realm. In their memories, humans had never dared to fight them head-on with their physical bodies. They had always fought them with powerful divine weapons and martial arts. But this white-robed young man in front of them had a terrifying physical body. Almost no one was a match for him. Soon, he had killed his way to the demonic bug's surroundings. This is the 3rd level of the indestructible war body? This junior brother has such a strong physical body. Wang Chong exclaimed. He recognized that the martial art Ling Xiao was using was the indestructible war body. Stop him! We can't let him disturb Milord. The eyes of the Tiger Demon clan all turned red. They rushed toward Ling Xiao without fear of death, wanting to stop him. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. He raised his jade white palm. A trace of black divine light lingered on it, containing the ultimate destructive power. He suddenly slashed his palm toward a blade in front of him. The dazzling blade light was like a vast galaxy, as if it had shrouded the void in all directions. The dozen or so experts of the Tiger Demon clan in front of him were all cleaved into two halves by his blade. They fell down neatly in an instant, their flesh and blood splattering everywhere. This was the power of the 7 moves of judgment. It killed more than a dozen powerhouses of the Tiger Demon clan in one move. Its power was extremely formidable. There was no one else in front of him to stop Ling Xiao. He instantly pounced towards the black demonic bug. Rumble! In front of him was an ancient stone pool filled with black demonic spirit stones. There were even many corpses of demonic beasts. In the center of the pool was a black ball of light. There was a black worm that was more than 10 feet long. It had a ferocious head, and its eyes were blood-red and cruel. It had a pair of transparent wings on its back, and its entire body was emitting an extremely terrifying corrosive power. It really is a defective product. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. A true world etching bug had 12 wings on its back. Legend had it that when the 12 wings flapped, the corrosive power it released could destroy a great thousand world. He didn't know where the demon clan got this defective product and cultivated it here. However, even if it was a defective product, it couldn't be underestimated. Ling Xiao could sense a dangerous aura. This demonic bug had the power to threaten the heavenly god realm. Boom! Ling Xiao blasted a punch towards its head. His fist was extremely ferocious. Xia! The demonic bug stared at Ling Xiao. Its blood-red eyes were filled with cruelty. Suddenly, a sharp sound came out of its mouth. It was as if a sharp blade was going to pierce through Ling Xiao's consciousness. At the same time, the demonic bug opened its mouth and instantly spat out dozens of black demonic lines. They intertwined with each other and enveloped Ling Xiao. Break for me! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and a dazzling blade radiance bloomed in front of him. The blade radiance of the judgment blade instantly cut open the void and the dozens of demonic lines. Then, Ling Xiao's fist landed heavily on the bug's head. As for that sharp sound, it didn't have any effect on Ling Xiao. It didn't even enter his consciousness before it was dissolved into nothingness. The demonic bug screamed. Its body trembled violently, and it was sent flying. Ling Xiao was slightly surprised. His punch seemed to have landed on cotton. More than half of its power was dissipated. Otherwise, the demonic bug would have been blown apart by his punch. The demonic bug seemed to know that Ling Xiao wasn't to be trifled with. The wings on its back flapped, and a terrifying divine light swept towards Ling Xiao. Then, it flapped its wings and instantly fled into the distance. Trying to escape? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had long been on guard against the demonic bug's escape. Therefore, he directly slapped the demonic bug with his palm. The 5 elements divine light was dazzling and extremely fast. It was as if it had turned into a 5 elements enchantment and directly enveloped the demonic bug. With a suction force from Ling Xiao's palm, the demonic bug was directly caught by him. You'd better behave yourself. Ling Xiao directly slapped the demonic bug unconscious. Then, he set up a few restrictions and threw the demonic bug into the space of the wordless heavenly book. What's that? Ling Xiao had just dealt with the demonic bug when he saw that there was a milky white crystal where the demonic bug had been. It was the size of a longan and extremely round. It actually emitted a strange and extremely pure aura of the divine path. Those demonic spirit stones had already exhausted their energy and had become useless stones without any spirituality. Only this milky white crystal was emitting a faint light. This is the aura of the divine liquid? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could actually feel the dense power of the divine path from that milky white crystal. It actually contained more than 20 drops of the divine liquid. Legend has it that the world etching bug can corrode the world and nurture supreme treasures. Could this defective product be able to absorb energy from the void and nurture the divine liquid? Thinking of this, Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air came from behind Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he immediately put away that milky white crystal. Behind Ling Xiao, the green-robed Wang Chong flew over, and in an instant he was in front of Ling Xiao. After Ling Xiao subdued the demonic insect, the black threads that had trapped them naturally disappeared. They immediately turned the tables, forcing the powerhouses of the Tiger Demon clan to retreat step by step, and even launched a one-sided massacre. In the blink of an eye, the situation had reversed. Many tiger demons began to scatter and flee. Seeing Ling Xiao put away that milky white crystal, Wang Chang's face couldn't help but darken. However, he still pretended to be calm and said, "Many thanks to this junior brother for saving us. However, that crystal in junior brother's hand is a treasure that I lost here. Please return it to me. This one will be eternally grateful." Chapter 1328. Senior brother, are you talking about this crystal? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and a milky white crystal appeared in his palm. He smirked as he asked Wang Chong, "What do you think?" "That's right. It's this crystal. Thank you, junior brother, for returning it to its rightful owner." Wang Chang's eyes immediately blazed as he reached out to take it. However, Ling Xiao retracted his hand. Wang Chang's face darkened as he asked, "What do you mean by this? Are you not returning it to me?" "Senior brother, I'm afraid you're mistaken. This crystal is my spoil of war after killing the demon bug. How could it belong to you?" Ling Xiao smiled faintly. "Junior brother, this crystal was snatched away by the demon bug when we were hunting the demon race. It's indeed mine. Please return it to its rightful owner. You don't want to hurt the relationship between our two clans, right?" Wang Chong said calmly. He was a mid-heavenly god, an entire major realm higher than Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao's battle prowess was decent and he had cultivated the invincible battle body, he did not think Ling Xiao would be his match. At this moment, everyone had also finished their work. After slaughtering all the powerhouses of the Tiger Demon clan, they walked over one after another. When they heard the conversation between Ling Xiao and Wang Chong, different expressions appeared on their faces. "Junior brother, why aren't you handing over senior brother Wang's item?" "That's right. Junior brother, we just fought side by side and killed so many demon race experts. Our senior brother Wang has already said that as long as you hand over his things, he will give you 30% of these demon race demon crystals." The two early sky celestial disciples looked at Ling Xiao coldly and arrogantly. Ling Xiao was so angry that he laughed. His eyes turned cold. "I think you're mistaken. If we didn't appear to save you, you would have become food for those demon bugs. This crystal is my spoil of war. As for the demon crystals, we'll only take 50% since you guys also contributed." He hadn't expected that these great Zhou Academy disciples would turn their backs on him. He had just helped them escape, but they were already eyeing the spoils of war in Ling Zhao's hands. Ling Xiao didn't believe that the crystal belonged to Wang Chong. Most likely, Wang Chong had come to the Tiger Demon tribe for this crystal. Yi Liangshan sneered and said, "My big brother saved you. Why aren't you kneeling down and thanking him? How dare you take my big brother's things? I've never seen anyone as shameless as you. I'm afraid even those demon bastards aren't as thick-skinned as you." Yin Tiansong also said darkly, "If it weren't for us, you would all be dead. If I were you, I would immediately turn around and leave. How could I have the nerve to share the spoils? Are your lives so cheap that they can't even compare to a few magic crystals?" Yi Liangshan and Yin Tiansong's words were extremely vicious. The expressions of the great Zhou Academy's disciples changed as they glared at them. "Bastards, are you courting death? Even without you, our senior brother Wang would have been able to deal with that demonic bug. Clearly, it was you who took advantage of us. If you know what's good for you, hand it over. That's right, hurry up and hand it over. Otherwise, senior brother Wang won't let you off." What kind of trash are the Ares Academy's disciples? How dare you steal our senior brother Wang's treasure? The great Zhou Academy's disciples had unfriendly expressions as they stared at Ling Xiao and the others and berated them. Ling Xiao's expression instantly turned cold. He stared at Wang Chong and the others and said, "I'll say it one last time. This crystal is my spoils of war. If you're not afraid of death, come and snatch it." As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, King Xian and Feng Ye both pointed their ancient swords at Wang Chong and the others. Their eyes were as cold as ice. The great Zhou Academy and Ares Academy began to draw their swords and bows. It was as though a huge battle was about to break out at any moment. Wang Chang's expression changed. There was even a hint of killing intent in his eyes. However, when he saw Ling Zhao's incomparably calm gaze, his heart couldn't help but tremble. He had a premonition that this person in front of him wasn't afraid of him. If he really dared to make a move here, there would probably be some unforeseen consequences. No matter how he thought about it, he still wasn't confident. If Ling Xiao and the others all used the divine escape talisman to leave this place, they would still end up with nothing. Good. Very good. You're called Long Outyen, right? Junior brother Long, I'll remember you. I'll leave that crystal with you for now. However, when you return to the ancient city, I'll personally come and get it. Wang Chong looked at Ling Xiao with an ashen face. Then he turned around and left with the others. Everyone was a little surprised. They didn't expect Wang Chong to leave just like that. A bunch of cowardly rats. Ungrateful. Pooey. Yi Liangchen sneered. Don't bother about them. Let's leave this place first. If we wait for that Hu-gun to return, I'm afraid we'll be in trouble. Ling Xiao said to King Xian and the others. They cleaned up the battlefield and plundered all the precious ores, heavenly treasures, and demonic crystals from the Tiger Demon clan. Then, they quickly left the basin with Ling Xiao. Big brother, we've made a small fortune this time. All the demon crystals added together can be exchanged for 2,000 contribution points. Also, we can exchange those natural treasures for god crystals or holy liquid in the ancient city. Yap Liangchen was like a miser. He counted his gains and said excitedly, That's right, master. In the mythical space, danger and opportunity coexist. If you want to obtain an opportunity, you have to take risks. Just 2,000 contribution points and you're so happy? This little amount of contribution points is only enough for one person to cultivate in the God of War Pagoda for 2 days. If we don't get a few 100,000 contribution points, how can we be worthy of this trip? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A few 100,000 contribution points? Young master, are you planning to kill the demon god king? Yin Tiansong was also shocked. A few 100,000 contribution points was an unimaginable amount of money. One had to know that killing a demon god king could only exchange for 10,000 contribution points. How many demons would he have to kill to get a few 100,000 contribution points? Ling Xiao was about to say something when a cold light flashed in his eyes. He sent a telepathic message to King Xian. The 3 people following us are really like ghosts. How about this? Let's split up and meet at the next demon tribe. I'll think of a way to get rid of the 3 of them. King Xian replied, Are you confident? Don't worry. None of them will be able to escape. Ling Xiao said calmly. All right. King Xian nodded. She naturally trusted Ling Xiao. Chapter 1329. Sush. Xian Wang led Yi Liangchen, Fengya, and Yin Tiansong and flew towards the distance quickly. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, sat down cross-legged and looked at the void behind him calmly. Come out. You followed me from the ancient city all the way here. Your target is me, right? Ling Xiao said in a clear voice. His voice exploded in the void like thunder. The void in front of him was very calm. However, as a bright light flashed, 3 figures appeared and landed in front of Ling Xiao. Long Outyen, you can actually find the traces of the 3 of us? However, you're just a middle-stage true god. Where did you get the confidence to face the 3 of us? Lu Yangfeng looked at Ling Xiao indifferently. Ling Xiao, Xian Wang, and the others split up, while he stayed behind. His words gave Lu Yangfeng a big fright, as he never thought that Ling Xiao would actually discover her. Dazzling Gold City's city lord, Lu Yangfeng? Lu Wenqing asked you to come, right? I didn't expect him to be so persistent. It seems like I'll have to teach him a lesson when I return to the college this time. Ling Xiao looked at Lu Yangfeng and said indifferently. He had already guessed that Lu Wenqing and Lu Yen had sent people to deal with him. Therefore, when he saw Lu Yangfeng, he was not surprised. You still want to return to Ares College? I'm afraid you won't have the chance anymore. A sharp light flashed in Lu Yangfeng's eyes. Then, a bright jade talisman rose from his palm. It turned into a huge magic array and enveloped the entire area. This is the Prison Circle Talisman. I know you bought the Divine Escape Talisman. However, even the Divine Escape Talisman can't break this array space. Therefore, you should give up. If you don't want to die, hand over the Black Tortoise Sage's inheritance obediently. Otherwise, no one can save you today. Lu Yangfeng stared at Ling Xiao and said, "This Prison Circle Talisman was a sage talisman. He had paid a huge price to get it. It was to deal with Ling Xiao." However, what surprised him was that Ling Xiao did not resist at all. Even his expression was still very calm. "Your goal is the Black Tortoise Sage's inheritance?" "That's right. The Black Tortoise Sage's inheritance is indeed in my hands." Ling Xiao nodded and said. Although Lu Yangfeng had already guessed it, his eyes still lit up when he heard Ling Xiao admit it. "It's really in your hands. Hand it over quickly." Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, "Relax, I'll take it out. But I'm afraid that even if you live to see it, you won't live to take it away. You're courting death." Lu Yangfeng's gaze turned cold, and a murderous aura surrounded him. He said coldly, "Long Outyen, you're about to die, and you still want to play tricks? Cut the crap and hand it over." "No problem, I'll show it to you now," Ling Xiao said with a smile. Bush, bush. 3 dazzling lights appeared in front of Lu Yangfeng in an instant. They turned into 3 silver-ranked warriors that were about 10 feet tall. Their bodies were shining with silver light. They looked mighty and majestic. They were emitting a very dangerous wave. "What is this?" Lu Yangfeng's expression changed as a bad premonition welled up in his heart. "Don't you want the inheritance of the Black Tortoise Saint? This is one of them. There are 3 silver-ranked warriors. All of them possess the battle prowess of a complete heavenly god. Do you want to give it a try?" Ling Xiao smiled faintly. "What?" Lu Yangfeng and his 2 subordinates shuddered. Their gazes instantly became incomparably vigilant. "Kill them." Ling Xiao pointed at Lu Yangfeng and his 2 subordinates and said indifferently. Boom. As soon as Ling Xiao's voice fell, the 3 silver-ranked warriors emitted a terrifying aura. Their eyes became extremely lively. The silver war spears in their hands shone brightly. They lifted them up like javelins and threw them at Lu Yangfeng and his 2 subordinates. The 3 silver-ranked warriors' aura was extremely ferocious. The silver war spears were extremely fast. With their battle prowess that was comparable to a complete heavenly god, they appeared in front of Lu Yangfeng and his 2 subordinates almost instantly. "What?" Lu Yangfeng's expression changed drastically. He felt a fatal killing intent. He immediately threw a punch at the silver war spears while his body moved to the side at the same time. However, his 2 subordinates were not so lucky. Although they managed to avoid being hit in their vitals, their bodies were instantly pierced through. They spat out a mouthful of blood. As the war spears were thrown, the 3 silver-ranked warriors moved as well. Although they looked very clumsy, they moved like ghosts. They grabbed the silver war spears with their hands, then injected their divine energy into them and threw them at Ling Xiao. "No!" Lu Yangfeng's 2 subordinates' expressions changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with despair. After the silver-ranked warriors grabbed the war spears that pierced through their chests, they did not give them any time to react. They immediately pulled the spears out and pierced through their foreheads at an extremely fast speed. They were killed on the spot and their souls were destroyed. Lu Yangfeng's soul almost left his body. His body shone brightly and turned into a golden protective shield. He took the attack of the silver war spears head-on. After that, he did not even think about it and fled into the distance. He no longer had the slightest intention of snatching the Black Tortoise Saint's inheritance from Ling Xiao. No matter how much he thought about it, he did not expect Ling Xiao to have obtained such heaven-defying puppets like the silver-ranked warriors. There were not many puppets that were comparable to a complete heavenly god even in the 12 immortal sanctuaries. After all, the way of puppetry had long been lost. "Go back," Ling Xiao said indifferently. Then his eyes flashed sharply. The Shen Kuan sword in his hand shone brightly. A beautiful sword river descended from the sky and slashed directly at Lu Yangfeng. Ling Xiao had already calculated Lu Yangfeng's escape route. This time, he did not intend to let anyone live. The Xiankuan sword was a flawless holy treasure. Although Ling Xiao could only unleash the power of one attack, his divine energy would be depleted after that attack. However, this attack already had the power to threaten a divine king. This was the sword of holy path. Long Outyan, I will not let you go. I'll definitely kill you. Block it for me. Lu Yangfeng's eyes were filled with incomparable madness. Suddenly, a black shield appeared in his hand. It flowed with a mysterious holy path aura and blocked in front of the Xiankuan sword. Gotcha! The black shield actually withstood the attack of the Xiankuan sword. A black divine light burst out and bright runes filled the air. It directly shook the Xiankuan sword back. However, under this attack, the black shield seemed to have exhausted its energy. With a crisp cracking sound, it shattered like a spider web in an instant. Chapter 1330. Although Lu Yangfeng had blocked the attack of the Xiankuan sword unscathed, he had lost the opportunity to escape. The 3 silver-ranked warriors had surrounded him. Bush. 3 silver spears pierced through the void and pierced towards the 3 vital parts of Lu Yangfeng's body. They were extremely vicious. Open up! Lu Yangfeng roared angrily. A black ancient sword appeared in his hand. It was a sage-level treasure, flowing with a strong holy aura. He used the Zhou Tian sword manipulation technique. Sword chi burst out from his body and enveloped the 3 silver-ranked warriors. Clang, clang, boom. The 3 silver spears suddenly slashed at the ancient sword in Lu Yangfeng's hand, and a resplendent light burst out. Although Lu Yangfeng had a sage-level treasure, he still felt the blood in his body surging. His arms were numb, and he took a few steps back. His eyes were filled with horror. Lu Yangfeng, since you're here, leave your life behind. Ling Xiao said indifferently, and a trace of killing intent appeared at the corner of his mouth. Lu Yangfeng could be said to be trapped in a cocoon of his own making. The prison rune could last for at least 15 minutes. During this time, even Lu Yangfeng could not use the divine escape rune to return to the ancient city. The 3 silver-ranked warriors were not afraid of death. Soon, they had forced Lu Yangfeng into a dangerous situation. If it were not for the sage-level treasure in his hand, he would have died in the hands of the silver-ranked warriors. Ling Xiao took out the milky white crystal he had obtained and swallowed 2 drops of saint liquid. Immediately, a vast amount of energy surged into his body, and the divine power he had consumed was quickly restored. Although the sacred liquid could be used to restore one's cultivation, and it was more effective than many divine elixirs, few people would be so extravagant as to use the sacred liquid to restore their cultivation. Most people used the sacred liquid as a treasure to break through to the next realm. When Ling Xiao used the Xiankuan sword, he had almost exhausted all of his divine power. After swallowing 2 drops of sacred liquid, his divine power was instantly replenished. Slash! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he used the Xiankuan sword again. Rumble! The Xiankuan sword shone resplendently as rays of sword qi intertwined with each other. A terrifying and vast saint qi erupted as the Xiankuan sword soared into the sky and slashed down towards Lu Yangfeng. Ling Xiao used the mysterious Kuan sword to display the 7 styles of judgment. It turned into a blazing saber qi, like a heavenly river. No! Lu Yangfeng felt the fatal killing intent, and his eyes were filled with despair. He suddenly roared, and the terrifying divine power around him exploded, frantically trying to dodge the attack. However, regardless of whether it was the Xiankuan sword or the 7 styles of judgment, they were not something that he could contend against. A blood-red light flashed, and Lu Yangfeng was instantly split into 2 halves by the Xiankuan sword. Even his primordial spirit did not escape, and directly dispersed. The power of the Xiankuan sword was incomparably terrifying. Even the prison talisman could not withstand the power of this sword and directly shattered. Speaking of which, Lu Yangfeng could be said to have been caught in a trap of his own making. If he had not used the prison talisman, he might have been able to escape with the divine escape talisman. Although he had overestimated Ling Xiao, he did not expect Ling Xiao's strength to be so terrifying. Not only did he have the Xian Kuan sword, but he also had the heaven-defying puppet of a silver tier warrior. It's a pity that I can't use these 3 silver tier warriors for the time being. The next time I go to the Void Temple, I might be able to find a way to replenish their energy. Ling Xiao sighed softly. This time, in order to completely eliminate Lu Yangfeng and the other 2, he directly sent out 3 silver tier warriors. However, after this battle, the silver tier warriors' energy cores had been depleted, and they could only return to the Void Realm to replenish their runic power. After this battle, Ling Xiao also discovered the weakness of the white-clothed warriors. The silver tier warriors were suitable for frontal assaults. If the opponent wanted to escape, the silver tier warriors would not be able to catch up. After Lu Yangfeng died, there was nothing left of him except for the Black Divine Sword. Black Dragon Sword? It's not a bad sword. I can still use it. Ling Xiao grabbed Lu Yangfeng's Black Divine Sword and saw the sword name engraved on it. He could not help but praise it in his heart. The Xian Kuan sword was a flawless holy treasure. With his current cultivation, he would use up all his divine power in a single attack. The Black Dragon Sword was just an ordinary saint-level treasure. Ling Xiao could use it as a weapon for self-defense. However, if Lu Wenqing and Lu Wu saw it, they would probably go crazy. After all, Ling Xiao had killed their father. If you want to die, I don't mind fulfilling your wishes. Thinking of Lu Wenqing and Lu Wu, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent. Boom! Golden flames rose from Ling Xiao's palm. The devouring divine fire swept out and instantly burned the bodies of Lu Yangfeng and his 2 subordinates to ashes, completely destroying all traces of their corpses. Ling Xiao leaped up and rushed towards the direction of the demonic werewolves. Ling Xiao, Xian Wang, and Yi Liangchen had agreed to meet at the demonic werewolves. It was less than 20,000 miles away. After a few hours, Ling Xiao arrived at the area where the demonic werewolves were located. Sirius Mountain. This was a huge mountain. Although the demonic qi was overwhelming, the mountain was majestic and ancient trees towered into the sky. It was actually filled with vitality. After the demonic werewolves occupied this mountain, it was renamed Sirius Mountain. It was said that many people wanted to hunt down the experts of the demonic werewolves. However, all of them returned in defeat. This was also the most powerful demonic tribe within 100,000 miles. When Ling Xiao sneaked to the foot of Sirius Mountain, he contacted Xian Wang and the rest. Senior Brother Long, we just captured an expert of the demonic werewolves and interrogated him. Now, the demonic werewolves are the same as the demonic tiger tribe. They are empty internally. The strongest expert of the demonic werewolves, Lang Shan, has left Sirius Mountain with his men. Now is the best time to strike. Xian Wang said to Ling Xiao. That's right. The demonic werewolves are stronger than the demonic tiger tribe. However, since their strongest expert has left, the remaining wolf pups are not a threat. However, we also heard some unexpected news. The demonic werewolves have captured a few junior sisters from the Imperial College. Big brother, should we go and rescue them? Yi Liangchen chuckled. Lang Shan is not in Sirius Mountain? This is good news. However, he and Hu Gun just happened to leave the tribe. I'm afraid this matter is not as simple as it seems. However, we are here for the contribution points. Since this is the case, let's just go and kill all the experts of the Sirius Mountain. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. As for the disciples of the Imperial College, if it was convenient, he would naturally rescue them. Chapter 1331. 10 black iron warriors and 3 silver warriors appeared in front of Ling Xiao. All of them were more than 10 feet tall and looked like they were made of metal. They looked very lifelike and each of them held a battle spear. The appearance of the black iron warriors and silver warriors gave Xian Wang, Yap Liangchen, Fengya, and Yin Tiansong a shock. These are the opportunities that I obtained in the Great Void Secret Realm. The The Black Iron Warriors can unleash the combat power of the complete True God realm, while the Silver Warriors can unleash the combat power of the complete Heavenly God realm. With them charging for us, we will be able to kill all the demonic wolves in the shortest time possible. Ling Xiao smiled as he briefly explained the Black Iron Warriors and Silver Warriors to them. It can only be used once? That's such a waste. This is the legendary Tao of puppetry from the ancient times. Brother, why don't you give one to me? Yap Liangchen laughed shamelessly. Don't worry. Once I find out how to replenish the energy of these Silver Warriors, I will give each of you one. Ling Xiao smiled. He had a total of 9 Silver Warriors. Once he solved the problem of the energy core, he could give them to Yap Liangchen and the rest to protect themselves. Ha! Brother, you are so generous. Let's charge in then. Those wolf cubs are dead meat. Yap Liangchen's eyes lit up as he said eagerly. Kill! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he led the charge towards Sky Wolf Mountain. Rumble! Their auras exploded. With the Black Iron Warriors and Silver Warriors paving the way, Ling Xiao and the other 4 charged up Sky Wolf Mountain. Enemy attack! A sharp voice resounded through the celestial Wolf Mountain, following which the demonic chi churned. Numerous figures shot out from the celestial Wolf Mountain and pounced towards Ling Xiao and the others. The experts of the demonic wolf clan were more than 3 meters tall. They had the head of a wolf and the body of a human. Their faces were very ugly, but their bodies were very strong. Their muscles were bulging and their blood was boiling. Their eyes were full of cruelty. Despicable humans. How dare you invade Sky Wolf Mountain? You are courting death. My children, kill them all and offer them to the Lord as food. The leader of the demonic wolves had the cultivation of the complete heavenly god realm. He was more than 10 feet tall and covered in golden fur. He held a huge axe in his hand and his eyes were filled with cruelty and bloodthirsty killing intent. Rumble! He was the first to pounce on Ling Xiao and the others. The experts of the demonic wolves looked at Ling Xiao and the others as if they were looking at food. They roared and charged at them. Rumble! Under Ling Xiao's command, the 3 Silver Warriors charged towards the leader of the demonic wolves. The 3 silver battle spears shone brightly, as if they could penetrate everything. They directly penetrated several powerhouses of the demonic wolf clan in front of them. The terrifying power burst out and turned them into a bloody mist. Then, the spears continued to stab at the leader of the demonic wolf clan. Clang! Sparks flew in all directions as the spear collided with Lang Kai Shan's axe, causing a rumbling sound. The 3 Silver Warriors remained unaffected, while the demonic wolf clan powerhouse retreated several steps in succession. What? His eyes were filled with disbelief. The 3 silver stone golems in front of him were actually no weaker than him. Despicable human, you're courting death. He was not stupid. He could tell at a glance that the Silver Warriors were just puppets, and the one who was commanding them was Ling Xiao. Therefore, he stomped his feet and shot up into the sky like a cannonball. He bypassed the Silver Warriors and smashed his huge axe at Ling Xiao. Open! Ling Xiao did not dodge when he felt the dangerous fluctuation from the leader of the demonic wolves. Instead, his eyes were filled with a strong desire to fight. He also wanted to test how his current physical body was compared to the demonic wolves. After all, the demonic wolves were only middle-level demons. There were high-level demons above them, and even the legendary saint-level demons. The black dragon sword shone brightly. Ling Xiao activated the 7 moves of judgment with the power of the immortal warbody. He rose into the air and slashed at the leader of the demonic wolves. Boom! The black dragon sword and the mountain-splitting axe collided. Ling Xiao felt an unparalleled force coming at him. His arm was slightly numb, and he could not help but take a few steps back. The leader of the demonic wolves also staggered and retreated. How is this possible? The leader of the demonic wolves widened his eyes, and his face was filled with disbelief. This human ant's aura was much weaker than his, but his physical body was so strong that it was not any weaker than his. However, before he could think further, the 3 Silver Warriors' battle spears had already pierced through the air at lightning speed. Bang! The leader of the demonic wolves felt the danger and suddenly blocked behind him with his huge axe. Although he blocked the attack of the battle spears, his back was exposed in front of Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out, and a golden fist mark exploded like the sun. It was unparalleled in strength, and it directly hit the back of the leader of the demonic wolves. Ling Xiao's punch was filled with the power of the immortal warbody. It was extremely terrifying, and it directly sent the leader of the demonic wolves flying. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, the silver battle spears in the hands of the 3 silver warriors instantly pierced through his glabella, heart, and dantian, nailing him to the ground. The most powerful person of the demonic wolves was directly killed, and the remaining demonic wolves were all terrified. They lost half of their fighting spirit in an instant. In addition, the black iron warriors and silver warriors were invincible and fearless. They killed a demonic wolf expert with a single spear strike, causing the demonic wolves experts to wail and flee in all directions. Xian Wang, Yi Liangchen, Feng Ye, and Yin Tiansong originally thought that there would be a big battle, but they did not expect the demonic wolves experts to be defeated so quickly. They followed behind the black iron warriors and silver warriors, constantly reaping the lives of the demonic wolves experts and extracting the demonic crystals from their bodies. It was extremely easy for them. Hundreds of demonic wolves experts were killed just like that, and a small number of them escaped. When Ling Xiao killed his way to the top of the Sirius Mountain, he saw an ancient stone pool at the top of the mountain. Demonic chi rose from it, and it contained an extremely evil and corrosive power. In the stone pool, there was a black worm that was about 10 feet long. It had a pair of wings on its back, a hideous head, and blood-red eyes. It stared at Ling Xiao, and demonic lines intertwined around its body, wrapping a man and 3 women in it. It looked like the man and 3 women would be swallowed by the black demonic worm at any time. It's actually a defective world etching bug? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The Tiger Demon clan had defective world etching bugs, and the Demonic Wolves clan also had defective world etching bugs. Ling Xiao suddenly felt that something was wrong. Who had brought the defective world etching bug? Chapter 1332. There was no time for Ling Xiao to ponder. The insect let out a sharp shriek and dozens of black demonic lines shot towards him. The black demonic insect seemed to have sensed Ling Xiao's threat and made the first move. The sharp howl contained a powerful attack of the soul, as if it wanted to pierce through Ling Xiao's forehead. The black demonic threads wanted to wrap around Ling Xiao, before devouring all of Ling Xiao's flesh and divine power. Although the black demonic insect looked like a larva, it wasn't weak at all. However, Ling Xiao was prepared for it and had already caught a black demonic insect. Rumble! The black dragon sword in Ling Xiao's hand was incomparably sharp. He slashed down and rays of holy light filled the air, shattering the black lines. Ling Xiao stretched out his hand and grabbed the black demon bug. Like a bolt of lightning, he pinched the black demon bug and knocked it out with a few slaps. Then he suppressed the black demonic insect in the wordless heavenly tome. Ling Xiao's eyes suddenly revealed a trace of surprise. He suddenly saw that the black demonic insect from before had disappeared from the wordless heavenly tome. To be more precise, it was devoured by the divine skymend butterfly. He didn't know when Jin Se and the divine skymend butterfly had both woken up. Jin Se's red dress fluttered in the wind. Her complexion was beautiful and her skin was whiter than snow. However, her snow-white hair made her seem somewhat weathered. Her eyes were filled with indifference and confusion. It was as if she didn't know where she was and was casually walking around in that space. The wordless heavenly tome was a world of its own. The divine skymend butterfly emitted 9 colors of light. It looked ethereal, gorgeous, and incomparably mysterious as it floated on Jin Se's shoulder. Ling Xiao could sense a trace of the black demonic insect's aura on the divine skymend butterfly. Clearly, the black demonic insect had been eaten by the divine skymend butterfly. Moreover, the divine skymend butterfly's strength seemed to have increased as well. It actually emitted a trace of danger that made Ling Xiao feel somewhat threatened. However, Ling Xiao didn't care about the divine skyman butterfly. His gaze fell on Jin Se. Jin Se, Ling Xiao felt his heart tremble slightly. Seeing Jin Se's indifferent and unfamiliar eyes, he felt an incomparable pain in his heart. Had she lost all her memories in the end? Ling Xiao's heart was filled with apprehension. He didn't know how to face Jin Se. Is this a junior from Aries College? Thank you, junior brother, for saving us. We can't thank you enough. At this moment, a weak voice pulled Ling Xiao back from his thoughts. The black demonic lines were broken, and the black demon bug was captured by Ling Xiao. The trapped man and 3 women immediately broke free. The 3 of them were dressed in white robes, and a small sword was embroidered on their sleeves with golden thread. It was obvious that they were from the Imperial Academy. The man was tall and slender, and his face was handsome. His eyes were pure and deep, and his temperament was as gentle as jade. He was like a modest gentleman. At this moment, he bowed deeply to Ling Xiao, and his expression was very sincere. He was a late-stage heavenly god, and the 3 girls behind him were all mid-stage heavenly gods as well. They were all beautiful, but they seemed rather cold. I'm Long Outyin from Aries College. These 4 are my juniors. We didn't expect to meet you at Celestial Wolf Mountain. You don't have to be so courteous. Ling Xiao smiled at the man in white robes before introducing Xian Wang and the rest. As the 2 sides exchanged greetings, Ling Xiao also learned about the identities of the man and 3 women. The man in white robes was called Fang Chong, and the 3 women were called Ming Jing, Ming Xian, and Ming Yu. They were all disciples of the Imperial Academy. The 4 of them were also here to hunt demons, but they didn't expect to fall into the trap of the black demon bug and be trapped by the demonic lines. If Ling Xiao and the rest hadn't saved them, they wouldn't have been able to hold on for long. Junior brother Long, do you know where Lang Shan from the demonic wolf clan went? Fang Chong suddenly smiled and asked. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Oh, senior brother Fang, do you know? Fang Chong nodded. That's right. I heard from the demonic wolf clan that Lang Shan and Hu Gun went to the Sky Devil Valley to fight for the demon saint's corpse. Sky Devil Valley? Demon saint's corpse? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He suddenly remembered the news that the burly man told him in the ancient city. It seemed like the demon saint's corpse really existed. That's right. It is the demon saint's corpse. Junior brother Long, are you interested? Why don't we work together? As long as we can get the demon saint's corpse, the resources we can exchange for will be enough for us to cultivate to the God King realm. Fang Chong looked at Ling Xiao expectantly. Although Long Outyin was only at the middle true god realm, Fang Chong didn't underestimate him. He could feel that Long Outyin's true battle strength wasn't any weaker than his. He was a true peerless genius. Saints were blessed by the heavens and earth, and their entire body was full of treasures. Even a strand of hair was the best refining material, not to mention the flesh, bones, and even the small worlds of the saints were supreme treasures. Senior brother Fang, have you been to the Sky Devil Valley? I heard that the demon saint's corpse in the Sky Devil Valley is guarded by a God King realm demonic beast. There are even demon God Kings coveting the demon saint's corpse. I'm afraid it won't be easy for us to get the demon saint's corpse, right? Ling Xiao glanced at Fang Chong and smiled. Fang Chong nodded and said, Junior brother Long is right. The Sky Devil Valley is indeed filled with danger, but aren't cultivators like us fighting against the heavens and defying the heavens? A demon saint's corpse is a supreme treasure. As long as we plan carefully, we still have a chance to get it. Ling Xiao thought for a while and said, I still need to think about this matter. Senior brother Fang, 3 senior sisters, you should hurry up and heal your injuries. The demon saint's corpse was of great importance, but it was worth the risk. If they could get their hands on a demon saint's corpse, Ling Xiao wouldn't be lacking in the energy of the flowing time temple. A demon saint's corpse could allow Ling Xiao to cultivate in the flowing time temple for at least 100 years. What Ling Xiao lacked the most now was time. He needed to establish a firm foothold in the divine world before the 100 years were up. He needed to have enough strength to protect himself, and only then could he take the next step to protect his family and friends. The experts of the demonic wolf clan in the celestial wolf mountain range were quickly eliminated. All the demonic crystals in the bodies of the demonic wolves were dug out. The harvest this time was even greater than the one in the demonic tiger clan. After careful calculation, they had at least earned over 5,000 contribution points. They had only been in the divine devil space for a day or two, but they had already made such a huge harvest. Xian Wang and the others were also very excited. Ling Xiao used the excuse of needing to go into seclusion to find a secret chamber in the demonic wolf clan and laid down several layers of restrictions and arrays. Ling Xiao took a deep breath, and a complicated look appeared in his eyes. No matter what, it was time to face Jin Se. But, did Jin Se still recognize him? P.S. We still have to work overtime tonight. There are only 3 chapters left for today. Everyone, rest early. Chapter 1333. Ling Xiao didn't let Jin Se out immediately. Instead, he entered the Void Temple and turned the wordless heavenly book into a speck of dust. Only then did he enter the wordless heavenly book without worry. After all, there were many experts above the sage realm who were paying attention to the whereabouts of the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao didn't dare to casually reveal the wordless heavenly book. He felt more at ease in the Void Temple. Ever since he broke through to the divine spirit realm, although he still couldn't fully control the wordless heavenly book, he could already use some of its effects. The wordless heavenly book formed a world of its own. Jin Se's red dress fluttered in the wind. Her white hair fluttered in the wind. Her face was indifferent. A butterfly with 9 colors of light circled around her. She wandered freely in this unfamiliar world. Buzz! A light flashed in the void and Ling Xiao appeared in front of Jin Se. Jin Se, do you still recognize me? Ling Xiao looked at Jin Se with a hint of nervousness in his eyes. His heart was incomparably nervous. Jin Se stared at Ling Xiao. Her eyes were filled with confusion and indifference. After a while, she shook her head and said, I don't recognize you. Who are you? Why did you call me Jin Se? Where is this place? Why am I here? Jin Se's words were very cold. They exuded a coldness that kept people at 1,000 miles away. Ling Xiao's heart ached. Although he had expected this, he was still incomparably disappointed. Jin Se, you still don't remember me. Ling Xiao sighed and said slowly, it's a long story. Let me tell you slowly. We both came from the longevity sect of the God of War realm. 10,000 years ago, Ling Xiao's voice was very low and slow. He started from how the two of them met 10,000 years ago, all the way to how Ling Xiao found Jin Se 10,000 years later, how Jin Se was poisoned by the 7 souls dissipating soul light, and how Jin Se lost her memories and was cleansed by the supreme emotion forgetting water. The current Jin Se was like a blank piece of paper. Although her cultivation hadn't changed and was still at the early divine spirit realm, she had forgotten everything. After seeing Ling Xiao, the divine Skymend butterfly seemed very happy and excited. It danced around Ling Xiao. When Ling Xiao gave it the black demon bug he just obtained, the divine Skymend butterfly became even happier. Ling Xiao told Jin Se everything that had happened. After listening to Ling Xiao's story, Jin Se's expression was still as cold as ever. There was a slight ripple in her eyes, but she quickly regained her composure. Jinse, I'm not lying at all. I can open up the memories of my primordial spirit and let you check them. That way, you will know everything. Ling Xiao said seriously to Jin Se. Afterwards, he opened up the sea of memories in his soul and allowed Jin Se to search. Jin Se thought about it and shook her head. No need, I believe you. From today onwards, my name is Jin Se. But before I regain all my memories, I'm afraid I won't be able to treat you like before. I hope you can understand. Ling Xiao smiled as happy as a child. No problem. Jin Se, you've waited for me for 10,000 years. Now let me wait for you. I'll wait until you remember everything. Now let's get to know each other again. Hello, I'm Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao smiled. Jin Se hesitated for a moment, then nodded lightly. Hello, I'm Jin Se. She had a cold personality, and the Ling Xiao in front of her was like a stranger to her. However, she also had a feeling that they had known each other before. That strange familiarity gave her a strange feeling in her heart. Ling Xiao smiled. Jinsei, how about this? When you return to the mythical space with me, I'll tell you that you're a friend of mine. You can come with me to Ares College temporarily. Then, I'll think of a way to let you join the Taishangdao Palace. Alright. Jinsei nodded calmly. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. Although Jinsei had lost all her memories, it was fine as long as Jinsei was by her side. He also believed in the emperor's words. The Taishangdao scripture would definitely help Jinsei regain her memories. Ling Xiao could feel that Jinsei seemed to be in a state of absolute indifference at all times. The emperor had also said that Jinsei had the legendary Taishang Daoist body. She was a peerless genius of the Taishang Daoist palace that only appeared once every 10,000 years. She was most suited to cultivate the Taishang Daoist scripture. However, Ling Xiao still needed to think carefully about how to let Jinsei safely join the Taishang Dao palace. He had to ensure that nothing went wrong. Ling Xiao brought Jinsei out of the wordless book world and returned to the mythical space through the heart realm. The secret room Ling Xiao chose was very cheap. He did not tell Fang Chong, Xin Wang and the others. Therefore, when Ling Xiao returned from the celestial wolf mountain with a beautiful woman in a red dress and white hair, everyone was extremely surprised. Junior sister Ji, please keep this a secret. Among everyone, only Ji Feishuan recognized Jinsei. The others were very curious. Ling Xiao explained to Ji Feishuan through telepathy, and Ji Feishuan nodded tacitly. Everyone, let me introduce you. This is my friend, Jinsei. She came to the mythical space with the elders of her family. However, due to some reasons, she will be working with us in the future. Ling Xiao introduced her to Fang Chong, Liangchen, and the others. Good friend? Big brother, could this be sister-in-law? She is indeed a peerless beauty. She has an extraordinary temperament. Brother, you have good taste. Yi Liangchen's eyes lit up as he winked at Ling Xiao. Get lost. You talk too much. Ling Xiao glared at him and said angrily. Jinsei's face was cold. She nodded slightly at everyone without saying anything. Although everyone was very curious about the relationship between Jinsei and Ling Xiao, they knew better than to ask too much. Junior brother Long, have you thought about it? That is the corpse of the great demon saint. There might even be the inheritance of the great demon saint. It doesn't matter if we can get it or not, we can't let it fall into the hands of the demon race. Fang Chong said to Ling Xiao. Alright, senior brother Fang, I agree. Let's go to the Heavenly Devil Valley together. Ling Xiao said with a smile. His eyes shone with a bright light. When he was in the Great Void Temple, he asked Uncle Su about it. A great demon saint's corpse contained a vast amount of energy. It was enough to keep the flowing time temple open for a long time. If Ling Xiao could get his hands on the great demon saint's corpse, he would have more time to cultivate. With a time acceleration of 30 times, Ling Xiao was confident that he could become a sage within 100 years. In the divine world, only those who had attained the Tao and become a sage could be considered a big shot. Otherwise, under the sage realm, even a divine king was just an ant. Chapter 1334. Ling Xiao, Fang Chong, and the others left the celestial wolf mountain and headed towards the Heavenly Devil Valley. The Heavenly Devil Valley was actually a huge abyss that covered an area of tens of thousands of miles. It was shrouded in fiend god Qi all year round. Not only were there all kinds of ferocious and powerful demonic beasts, but there were also many demons gathered there. Therefore, few people would come to the Heavenly Devil Valley to hunt demons. However, ever since the news of the demon saint's corpse in the Heavenly Devil Valley spread, more and more human experts came to the Heavenly Devil Valley in hopes of obtaining the demon saint's corpse and inheritance. However, the demon saint's corpse was located in the deepest part of the Heavenly Devil Valley. It was covered by an extremely powerful ancient formation and was guarded by a demonic beast. Therefore, many people only wandered around the periphery, trying to find a way to enter the ancient formation. Over the past few days, many battles had broken out between the human and demon experts, and both sides suffered casualties. However, as the ancient formation was about to open, the experts of both races restrained themselves and prepared to fight for the demon saint's corpse. Boom! On top of a black mountain, there was a dazzling light and purple lightning lingering around it. A huge spatial gate had appeared. A figure in a purple robe walked out of the spatial gate, exuding an extremely terrifying aura. It was a young man in a purple robe. He had a slender figure and a jade-like face. There seemed to be purple lightning flashing in his eyes, making him look majestic and mysterious. There were already dozens of figures with powerful auras on top of the mountain. They were all in the true God realm and celestial God realm. They were all disciples of the great Zhou Academy, and Wang Chong was among them. When the young man in purple robe appeared, the eyes of all the disciples revealed a hint of fanaticism as they bowed in unison. "Greetings, senior brother." The young man in purple robe was the strongest of this generation of the great Zhou Academy, Jiuanlong. He was in the great circle of the celestial God realm, but his aura was as vast as the ocean, far surpassing the celestial God realm. He was not much weaker than a God King realm expert. It was rumored in the great Zhou Academy that senior brother Jiuanlong could have broken through to the God King realm long ago, but he had been suppressing his cultivation in order to cultivate a peerless technique. Although he was only in the great circle of the celestial God realm, he had killed more than one God King. Jiuanlong had already caught the eye of a saint old ancestor of the 9 imperial gates, and he would become a direct disciple immediately after he entered the gates. "Get up. How's the situation in Sky Devil Valley?" Jiuanlong glanced at the crowd and said. Reporting to eldest senior brother, there are many experts gathered in the heavenly Devil Valley. Tiger Gun, Lang Shan, and Ing Ju of the Devil Clan have arrived with their experts. It is said that a saint-level Devil Clan will arrive soon. Wang Chong immediately stepped forward and respectfully reported. "Saint-level demons? Very good. As long as I kill this saint-level demon, my divine firmament Dragon King transformation will be complete. Keep a close eye on the devil race. Inform me immediately if there is any news about a saint devil race." A sharp glint flashed across Jiuanlong's eyes as he spoke indifferently. "Yes, eldest senior brother, other than the demons, we have also found traces of the Heroes Alliance." Wang Chong was a little hesitant, but he still reported. "Hero Alliance? They were just a bunch of vicious criminals. How dare they call themselves the Hero Alliance? Do you know who came from the Hero Alliance?" Jiuanlong's eyes revealed a trace of disdain. In the divine world, there were many abandoned disciples and criminals who fled to the mythical space after being hunted down. Most of them gathered in the Hero Alliance. The various sacred grounds had sent experts to hunt down the Hero Alliance, but the Hero Alliance's base was extremely secretive. In addition, it was rumored that the leader of the Hero Alliance was a saint. Thus, the sacred grounds could not do anything to the Hero Alliance. Although the mythical space rejected saints, that saint had relied on a supreme treasure to make a name for himself in the mythical space. He had even stirred up trouble in the divine world. The saints of the various sacred grounds had set up traps several times, but he had escaped each time. It is said that the Sword Saint came from the Hero Alliance. Wang Chong replied. "Sword Saint? When did the Hero Alliance have a Sword Saint?" Jiuanlong's expression changed slightly. Could it be that this was also a saint-level expert? Even if he was only a half-saint, his true strength far surpassed that of a God King expert. However, in the mythical space, even if a saint concealed his aura, he would only be able to exert the strength of a God King at most. "I'm not sure. It is said that he just joined the Hero Alliance. Although he is only a celestial god, he has already comprehended the sword of Saint Tao. His strength is extremely terrifying. He once killed a God King and is now considered the future leader of the Hero Alliance." Wang Chong reported. "A mere celestial god dares to call himself a sword saint? The Hero Alliance is indeed a bunch of lunatics. Pay attention to his whereabouts. Did the other 4 academies send anyone?" Jiuanlong asked indifferently. "I haven't found any traces of the other 4 academies yet." Wang Chong replied honestly. "Very good. Disperse for now and wait for the heavenly Devil Valley to open. Ji Yuanlong's eyes flashed. He leaped up and flew toward the heavenly Devil Valley. After several days of travel, Ling Xiao and Fang Chong finally arrived at the heavenly Devil Valley. In the past few days, they had been ambushed and attacked by the demons several times. However, they had calmly dealt with them. In the end, the demons were turned into demon crystals that could be exchanged for contribution points. Ling Xiao had refined 10 drops of the sacred liquid in the milky white crystal, and his cultivation had finally broken through to late-stage true god realm. There were still 9 drops of sacred liquid left in the crystal, which was not enough for Ling Xiao to continue breaking through. He had wanted to give the sacred liquid to Jin's first, but Jin's had refused. Ling Xiao discovered that Jin's was able to extract energy from the void. Her aura was getting stronger almost every day. This peerless talent made Ling Xiao sigh in amazement. Junior brother Long, our academy's senior sister Qinglian has arrived. Fang Chang's eyes lit up with joy when he received this news. Senior sister Qinglian? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had heard of Qinglian from the Imperial Academy. Qinglian was the #1 person in the Imperial Academy, the eldest senior sister of all the disciples. Her talent was unparalleled, and she was especially proficient in swordsmanship. It was rumored that she had already cultivated the Green Lotus sword force. She was a peerless sword cultivator. As soon as Fang Chang's voice fell, a green sword light came from the void in the distance. Sword chi rose, revealing a few peerless figures. They instantly landed in front of Ling Xiao and the others. The leader was a woman in a green dress. She was extremely beautiful, and her skin was whiter than snow. However, her temperament was extremely cold. She carried an ancient sword on her back, and her body exuded a sharp sword chi fluctuation. One look at her would send chills down one's spine. Her eyes were like swords, extremely sharp. Ling Xiao felt an extreme love for the sword from her. Behind her were 4 beautiful women in white robes. They also carried ancient swords on their backs. Their temperaments were ice cold. They were all late-stage heavenly gods. Chapter 1335. Greetings, great senior sister. Fang Chong hurriedly brought his 3 junior sisters to greet her. Greetings, senior sister Qinglian. Ling Xiao, Yiliangchen, and the rest also bowed to Qinglian. Although the 5 great colleges were of the same branch, Ares College and Imperial College were relatively closer to each other. As for Tyrant, Dezhou, and Heaven Sword, these 3 colleges Overlord and Tyrant belonged to the 9 Imperial Gates and were closer to each other. Are you guys from Ares College? Is Big Dipper here? Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao and the rest and asked. We didn't see Senior Big Dipper. We came by ourselves. Ling Xiao smiled. Nonsense. Qinglian said coldly, the heavenly Devil Valley is filled with demons. The demon race, the Heroes Union, and the Great Zhou College have all sent experts here. I'm afraid even the God King Realm experts will appear. Entering the heavenly Devil Valley with your cultivation is simply courting death. Now that Sky Devil Valley hasn't opened yet, you guys better go back quickly. Although Qinglian's words were tough, Ling Xiao could still hear the concern in her voice. Ling Xiao smiled and said, Senior Sister Qinglian, don't worry. We can protect ourselves. The main purpose of our trip to Sky Devil Valley is to kill the demons. We won't participate in the fight for the great demon saint's corpse. That won't do. What's your name? Qinglian still wanted to say something, but when her gaze fell on Jin Se, she suddenly revealed a trace of shock. Senior Sister Qinglian, she is my friend. Her name is Jin Se. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he replied. Jin Se? You are? Qinglian's eyes revealed a trace of excitement, but the words that were about to come out of her mouth immediately stopped. She instantly rushed over and grabbed Jin Se's arm. Under Ling Zhao's signal, Jin Se didn't resist. Qinglian's fingertips sent a strand of divine power into Jin Se's body. Her face was filled with joy. It was indeed the Supreme Taoist body. The Supreme Taoist body was the most suitable body for the Supreme Taoist Palace's martial arts. To the Supreme Taoist Palace, It was much more important than the legendary divine body or sage body. Every generation's sect master of the most supreme Tao palace had the most supreme Tao body, and only those with the most supreme Tao body could cultivate the most supreme Tao scripture to the extreme. It was just that the supreme Taoist body was too rare. The supreme Taoist palace often searched the entire God realm, but it was difficult to find someone with the supreme Taoist body. Therefore, many elders and disciples of the Taishang Tao palace had ways to search for the Taishang Tao body. As long as they could find someone with the Taishang Tao body, they would definitely receive extremely precious rewards. Take Qinglian for example. If she were to tell the people of the Taishang Holy Ji Palace about this, she would probably become a true disciple immediately. The news of the great supreme Taoist physique was too important, so she didn't mention it at all. Fang Chong and the others looked at Qinglian curiously. They didn't know what senior sister Qinglian had discovered to make her so excited and lose her composure. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He guessed that Fang Chong had probably discovered the secret of the great supreme Taoist physique. However, this was good news for Ling Zhao. He was originally worried about how to send Jin Se to the supreme Taoist palace naturally without arousing suspicion. Now that Qinglian had discovered that Jin Se had the supreme Taoist physique, she would definitely think of ways to take her into the supreme Taoist palace. Junior sister, aren't you a disciple of the Aries College? Are you willing to join the Imperial Academy? Qinglian smiled faintly at Jin Se. Jin Se glanced at Ling Zhao, and Ling Zhao immediately replied, Senior sister Qinglian, Jin Se originally wanted to enter the Imperial Academy through the Great Void Trial, but she was delayed by something, so she missed the Great Void Trial. If she could enter the Imperial Academy, she would naturally be more than willing. That's great. Junior brother Long, junior sister Jin Se can follow me for the next few days. I will protect her. Qinglian smiled faintly at Ling Zhao, but her voice was filled with an undeniable tone. She had already thought of a way to inform the Imperial Academy's principal, Lu Shuling. Presumably, Lu Shuling would immediately contact the Supreme Taoist Palace, and soon, there would be experts from the Supreme Taoist Palace directly descending into the mythical space. During this period, the only thing she had to do was to protect Jin Se. Although the great Devil Saint's corpse was important, compared to Jin Se, it was not worth mentioning. Alright, then I will have to trouble senior sister Qinglian. Ling Zhao smiled faintly and agreed on behalf of Jin Se. Jin Se looked at Ling Zhao calmly and didn't say anything. Instead, she stood beside Qinglian. Boom! At this moment, a loud sound suddenly came from the Sky Devil Valley, like the rumbling of thunder, and countless amounts of demonic qi instantly rose into the sky. The devil qi turned into a huge black vortex in the void, and many ancient and mysterious runes and characters could be vaguely seen. The Sky Devil Valley has opened, everyone, charge! Someone exclaimed, and suddenly, countless powerful figures from all directions rushed into the depths of the Sky Devil Valley. Let's go and take a look. Even if we can't get the great Devil Saint's corpse, we can't let it fall into the hands of the demonic clan. Qinglian's eyes flashed sharply, and the ancient green sword behind her back was unsheathed. Rays of sword light separated, and in an instant, Ling Zhao and the others were surrounded, and at the same time, shot into the depths of the Sky Devil Valley. In the depths of the Sky Devil Valley, endless demonic light flickered as a black altar appeared. On top of it sat an old man in a black robe. He looked very similar to a human. Other than his blue pupils and a mysterious rune between his eyebrows, he looked no different from a human. Sitting on the altar, he looked very lifelike, and his whole body exuded a powerful aura. If not for the death qi surrounding him, people would have thought that the great Devil Saint had come back to life. That's right, this old man in a black robe was the great Devil Saint's corpse. Below the altar, there was a huge black snake as thick as a bucket. It was hundreds of feet long, and its body was covered in black scales that shone with a cold light. There was a sarcoma on the top of its head, and its eyes were blood-red and cruel. Its tongue flicked in and out of its mouth as it stared at the people in front of it. This huge black snake was the demonic beast guarding the great Devil Saint's corpse, and it had the combat strength of a divine king. At this moment, the ancient array that enveloped them was broken, and the great devil saint's corpse and the huge black snake appeared in front of them. There were 3 demonic clan experts closest to the altar. One of them had the head of a tiger, the other had the head of a wolf, and the last one had the head of an eagle. All of them were in the great circle of the heavenly god realm, and they were staring at the people in front of them. They were Hu Gun from the tiger demon clan, Lang Shan from the demonic wolf clan, and Ingju from the shadow devil clan. P.S. Third update, please rest early. Chapter 1336. Demonic Chi filled the heavenly devil valley. A loud roar shook the void like thunder. Everyone could vaguely see the figure of a giant black snake that was over 100 feet long emerging from the shroud of demonic Chi. Its eyes were blood red, and its body was surrounded by a murderous aura. It coiled around the altar and stared at the many demon race and human race experts outside the valley. Welcome, Lord of the Sacred Clan. Hu Gun, Lang Shan, and Ingju knelt down at the same time. Their eyes were filled with reverence. In front of them, the void shook, and a strange spatial door opened in an instant. A powerful figure stepped out of the spatial door, exuding a monstrous demonic Chi. It was extremely evil and terrifying. It was a young man in black armor. He looked very similar to a human, but his eyes were blue, and he had long blue hair that surged like lightning. His blue eyes seemed to contain a whirlpool that could suck a person's primordial spirit into it. Is he from the Heavenly Devil Clan? Qinglian stared at the young man in black armor and said slowly, the Heavenly Devil Clan was a saint-level demon clan. They were far more powerful than low-level, mid-level, and high-level demons. Their status in the demon world was equivalent to the immortal sacred grounds in the divine world. They were extremely powerful. This young man from the Heavenly Devil Clan was equivalent to a disciple of an immortal sacred ground. Although his cultivation was only at the complete devil realm, which was equivalent to the complete heavenly god realm, his aura was extremely terrifying. Even Qinglian felt a strong sense of danger. It's really lively here. Are the people from the Hero Alliance, Grand Supreme Academy, and Great Zhou Academy all here? Since you're here, leave your lives behind. The young man from the Heavenly Devil Clan glanced at the people from the Hero Alliance, Jiuanlong and Qinglian. His expression was indifferent as he looked down at the crowd. Arrogant. So what if he's from the Heavenly Devil Clan? These demon bastards must be tired of living. Jiuanlong and Qinglian are both here. Let's kill all of these demon bastards today. Hee, the great demon saint's corpse is ours. The lives of these demon bastards are also ours. Many human race experts were filled with righteous indignation as they cursed at the heavenly fiend clan youth. There were only a few dozen devil race experts here, and the strongest were the heavenly devil race youth, Hu Gun, Lang Shan, and Ingju. However, there were over 1,000 human race experts, and among them were supreme experts like Jiuanlong and Qinglian. You're courting death. Murderous intent flashed in the eyes of the heavenly fiend race youth. Instantly, 7-colored divine light shot out from his eyes. It turned into several terrifying rays of light and shot into the glabella of the few humans who had just spoken. Rumble! It was as if the 7-colored divine spear had pierced through their foreheads. Their foreheads were shattered, and blood filled the air. Even their primordial spirits screamed as they were enveloped by the 7-colored divine light. They were instantly reduced to nothingness. This is the 7 souls dispersing light? Ling Zhao's body trembled, and his gaze instantly became extremely sharp. The 7-soul dispersal light was one of the most powerful abilities of the Sky Fiend clan. If it wasn't for the Sky Fiend clan, Jin Se wouldn't have ended up in this state. Seeing the Sky Fiend clan's youth torturing the human race so unscrupulously, a trace of burning killing intent arose in Ling Zhao's heart. Junior brother Long also recognizes the 7 souls dispersing light. The 7 souls dispersing light is the innate divine powers of the heavenly fiend race. It is extremely vicious. It directly attacks the primordial spirit and disperses the soul. Everyone must be careful. Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao in surprise before instructing the rest of the group. Jin Se also looked at the heavenly fiend race youth with a strange look in her eyes. Junior sister Qinglian, this guy from the heavenly fiend race is too arrogant. How about we get rid of them first, and then we will think about fighting for the great demon saint's corpse? Ji Yuanlong suddenly transmitted his voice to Qinglian. All right. Qinglian thought for a moment and agreed. Ants of the human race, if you are not afraid of death, then come in. After the heavenly fiend race youth killed a few humans with the 7 souls dispersing light, he sneered and led Hu Gun, Lang Shan, Ying Ju, and the others directly into the heavenly fiend valley. Boom! The heavenly fiend valley was filled with dense demonic qi. Although the giant black snake looked extremely ferocious, it did not attack the heavenly fiend race youth and the others. The heavenly fiend race youth muttered something, and black runes flew out from his body. Then, the glabella of the giant black snake lit up, and a golden rune on it became dazzling. The giant black snake actually allowed the heavenly fiend race youth to stand on its head. No one had expected such a change. The heavenly fiend race youth could actually control the giant black snake? Could the great demon saint be the great demon saint of the heavenly fiend race? After thinking of a certain possibility, the expressions of the human race experts suddenly changed. Junior sister Qinglian, the situation has changed. Let's attack together. We must not let the heavenly fiend race obtain the great demon saint's corpse. Ji Yuanlong's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. Boom! Ji Yuanlong's palm shone brightly, and in an instant, a purple gold long spear appeared. It was surrounded by purple lightning and contained an incomparably sharp light. Ji Yuanlong suddenly threw the purple gold long spear into the heavenly fiend valley. Immediately, it turned into a long purple rainbow and shot towards the giant black snake. At the same time, Ji Yuanlong also rushed forward and slapped his palm towards the heavenly fiend race youth. Kill! Qinglian's eyes were cold. The ancient sword behind her was unsheathed, and like a cold light illuminating the void, it instantly split into billions of sword qi and shot towards the heavenly fiend valley. Qinglian's clothes fluttered, and the sword aura around her surged, causing the void to shake violently. It was incomparably vast and pure. Under the leadership of Ji Yuanlong and Qinglian, many human race experts rushed towards the heavenly fiend valley. Stop them. We must not let them affect the sacred clan lord's plan. Hu Gun sneered, and his eyes were filled with cruel killing intent. Demonic light rose around his body, and his blood qi surged. He, Lang Shan, and Ying Ju all exploded with the strongest fighting spirit. They led the elite experts of the 3 clans and charged towards the human race experts. Rumble! A great battle was about to break out. Ji Yuanlong's purple gold long spear shone brightly, and a layer of purple sacred light flowed around it. This was also a half-saint treasure, and under Ji Yuanlong's control, it had the power to threaten the Divine King Realm experts. The giant black snake's eyes were blood red, and suddenly, a loud roar erupted from its mouth. It shook the void in all directions, and like a storm, it rushed towards the crowd. At the same time, its huge snake tail whipped towards the purple gold long spear like a black lightning bolt. The sound of metal colliding rang out, and the purple gold long spear was instantly sent flying back. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.